Real legend vibes.
Crash through the door like a hurricane spinning. Backhand gang always winning, never thinning. Bricks in the vision, stacking heights like a ladder. The first reckless graduate, nothing else matters. Taught by the bold KG, the professor. Class full of hitters, no time for the lesser. Blueprint sharp, every line be surgical. Gang move wild, but the hustle's vertical. Shut up, there's a takeover anthem. Backhand gang, no pressure, no tantrum. People with the bass, see the streets gon' feel it. Records on the rise, no way to conceal it. Backhand gang, backhand gang, backhand gang. What? Backhand gang, backhand gang, backhand gang. Backhand gang, backhand gang. Shut up, backhand gang, backhand gang.
It's time!
It's been time for a long time, and yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry I'm late. As you guys know, well, those of you who follow my channel anyway, you know that it was my aunt's passing recently, and today my family decided to hold a dinner. So apologies. This is the reason why I'm late. But I'm here. I did turn up. I am here. So sorry about the lateness. Yeah. And thank you for all of you who've waited. Actually, didn't realize how much people would actually be interested in talking about Sir Jim. Do you know what's mad, right? I can see that there's comments, but none of them are actually showing up in my comment section over here. So it's going to be a bit of a mad one for me to reply to people, and I can't even put the comments on screen right now. So I don't know what's going on with StreamYard, but it is what it is. So let's just get this show started, right? If you haven't heard, Sir Jim Ratcliffe has lost his mind. Yeah, recently, our co-owner of Manchester United, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, has come out with some bold statements. And you know what? I'm not even going to repeat them. I'm going to let the words come out of his own mouth, right? I've got videos, I've got everything, I've got clips, I've got responses, and we're just going to sit through them and just see like where we stand in it with our ownership at the moment, because I think this has really backfired on him majorly. Over the last few days, we've heard all sorts of replies from all different types of people, if I'm being quite honest with you. So let's just go through a few of them right now so we can get started and see which side of the fence you lay, which side of the fence you land on when it comes to the opinions of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Because anyway, let me let him say what he said first, and then we'll go on to the other things. Let's start here.
To say about the UK.
You can't have an economy with 9 million people on benefits and huge levels of immigrants coming in. I mean, the UK is being colonised. It's costing too much money. It will cause.
It's been colonised.
It'll cause. Well, yeah. The UK is being colonised by immigrants, really, isn't it? I mean, the population of the UK was 58 million in 2020. Now it's 70 million. That's 12 million people.
You met recently with Nigel Farage, didn't you?
I did.
Do you think that they would be a kind of a good government if they were to win the next election?
I think Nigel is an intelligent man, and I think he's got good intentions, but in a way you could say exactly the same about Keir when Keir came in. I think it needs somebody who's prepared to be unpopular for a period of time to get the big issues sorted out, would be my view.
Right. That was the words of Sir Jim. So, like he said, we've been colonized. Well, sorry, Britain's been colonized, because obviously I'm one of the colonizers. I technically must be one of the colonizers, right? Because I wasn't born here, if you didn't know. I was born in Jamaica. I'm a first-generation immigrant myself, right? And when those words hit me hard, like I think it hit most of Manchester United fans, or even anybody, because this has transcended football now. This subject here has broken outside the realms of football, because even the FA are starting, or the government are starting, or sorry, the FA, said that they might have to step in and maybe have some words with Sir Jim. I don't know if he's going to be hit with a fine or if he's going to be hit with something, but I think they said he may have broken their rules. I'm not saying that he definitely has, but he may have broken some of the FA's rules. I don't know if that's going to be hopefully something that we can use to hurry up and get him out of our club, because that would be beautiful. Just, hey, Stretford Elite said, I colonized the UK. Yeah, it's me, bro. Yeah, me and my peoples. You know this. Jamaicans are probably one of the biggest culprits for colonizing, isn't it? Yeah, us and the Nigerians. Yeah. But anyway, let me keep going. But that happened, right? And after Simons Jordan big bust up with Elia Loku, the next day he came out, said this about what Sir Jim had to say as well. And this one had me baffled. So hear this. I should have knew he was a bigot from the first place, but have a look.
Website, meantime, celebrates the fact that Manchester is a city famed for its embrace of immigrants. Mm-hmm. So tell me, after you've heard Sir Jim talking on Sky News, what's your reaction?
So let's pare this back a little bit. I think the term of colonisation is probably clumsy. But if you look at the underlying sentiment, put aside the analysis that he's misquoted some figures. Because the population in 2000 was 58 million. The population in the UK is 70 million in 2025, which means we've had a 21% increase, 20 to 21% increase in our population. The population of Europe has gone from 728 million to 744 million, which means Europe as a continent has had a 2% increase in population. You then distill down the German population increase, the Italian, the Spanish, the French. No one has had a population explosion like we have. So to go to the sentiment about the population, irrespective of whether he said 2020 or 2000, he is right. The population explosion, however it's manifested itself, has created a strain on this country. Then you go to the sentiment of the open border policy that various governments have deployed in regards to people coming into this country, and you look at that and see the challenge. So he's not wrong to say 9 million people on benefits on the welfare state is a challenge for this country. He's not wrong to say that foreign-born residents of this country make up a disproportionate amount of people on benefits in this country. He's also, if you look at his history, and I'm not defending some of the things he said because I think colonisation is a strong terminology, but you could ask certain people around this country.
It's a wrong terminology.
You could ask certain people around this country that might hold that view. If you went to towns like Bedford or to Luton, if you went to the towns surrounding Aston Villa Stadium, where a particular community decided that an Israeli football club weren't to come to that particular stadium.
On, one of the many brilliant things you do well in this show is your choice of words. And I'm not buttering you up, but that's why people love you. The way you express yourself, and people identify with you on that.
Yeah.
The choice of the word colonisation. Hang on. His words here.
But you haven't let me finish my point.
Settling and establishing control over the indigenous people of an area.
You haven't let me finish my point. What I said, there were certain people. First of all, he's not a politician. Second of all, Keir Starmer is a snivelling coward, because Keir Starmer said in his speech at this time last year, this is a country full of strangers, right, which people then index back to the Enoch Powell speech, right? And because there was political capital or political shrapnel in that, he pared back from that conversation and apologised for it.
Let's talk about
Jim Ratcliffe. Jim Ratcliffe is not a politician.
He's not a politician.
So he doesn't need to apologise.
So why is he offering this up?
Because he gave an interview and someone asked.
I've just paused it right there, right? Because if there's one thing I've noticed with that guy, I always forget his damn name, Simon Jordan, right? One thing I've always noticed with Simon Jordan, right? He loves to poke at Keir Starmer, right? Saying that, the Labour government's been absolutely cowardice or whatever, they're afraid to take steps in the immigration process and stuff like that. Do you know what, right? I did my own little research recently, and do you know that the immigration in this country is at the lowest it's ever been in like 40 years or something like that? Ever since the Labour government has come in, let me just double check what I'm saying before, I get misquoted like Jim. Yes. So ever since the Labour government came in, it's been at the lowest it's been for over 40 years. So I find it funny that they keep on saying that it's the Labour government's fault why it's this situation. It can't be the Labour government's fault. If it's the Labour government's fault, then it would not be in the situation that it's in right now. And furthermore, how do you think it got to the situation that it's in right now? This is why I think everything that Sir Jim said was politically charged. If it's one thing I will have to say, it was definitely politically charged, because it was only back in October of 2025 when he went and met with with Nigel Farage, right, in London, right? And now he's praising him on national TV. It's clear to me that I think this is steps in order to divide the public yet again. If it's one thing I can always say is that the rich are always looking to divide the public, yeah, to suit their own means. And if you don't believe me, I know I'm a nobody, and you probably don't believe I know what I'm talking about, but you know what, just keep on listening to this. Let him finish what he's saying and I'll get back to it. Okay. I don't see it playing. Is it not playing? Stop this. Okay, it's just trying to piss me off. He doesn't want to play. I'm going to have to just remove. Do you know what? F that then. Do you know what? Let me just go to the next clip, because you know what? There was someone who did get a piece of what Nigel Farage was saying, and he broke it down. He broke it down. I don't know if you guys know this guy. His name's Femi. He was heavily involved in the Brexit talks, right, against Brexit, and he was there when Sir Jim Ratcliffe was advocating for Brexit back then, and now he's seeing it all come to light again, all coming back to fruition. And he had these things to say about the Nigel Farage and Sir Jim Ratcliffe coalition.
Me tonight, because what we had tonight was Nigel Farage trying. Thank you, Nigel Farage, for entertaining me tonight. Because what we had tonight was Nigel Farage trying to defend the absolutely unhinged rant by the Manchester United co-owner. And it almost seems like when one pathological liar defends another pathological liar, the pathology intensifies.
So what did he say? He said 12 million people have come to the country in the last few years. Fact.
Well, he got his facts wrong, actually. He got the dates wrong, didn't he?
He meant 2000, he said 2020.
What? I'm sorry. Even if we're going to take the idea that it's okay to make mistakes that huge on national TV, you just said that it was 12 million people in the last few years. So you just repeated his lie that it was 12 million people since 2020. So you were happy to tell the exact same lie about immigration.
Well, that was an accident. That wasn't supposed to happen. Let me just let him keep on saying what he was saying.
Entertaining me tonight. Because what we had...
No, as I said, I grant you.
Yeah, mistakes that huge on national TV. You just said that it was 12 million people in the last few years. So you just repeated his lie that it was 12 million people since 2020. So you were happy to tell the exact same lie about immigration and only changed your tune when you were called out for it.
There are 9 million people living in Britain of working age on benefits of some kind, albeit some of them in work benefits, I will grant you.
Most of them are in work benefits, actually.
Many of them are. No, as I said, I grant you.
Yeah, but when Jim Ratcliffe says...
You can't have an economy with 9 million people on benefits.
He's trying to imply that those 9 million people aren't working, whereas the reality is they're working, but their wages aren't covering their basic needs, hence the need to rely on benefits. Now, for starters, Jim Ratcliffe supported Brexit, a policy that has cost the average household £1,000 a year. So it is because of him that there are so many people who are working, yet their wages aren't enough.
And I would argue access to the NHS.
Ah, yes, his old argument that immigration clogs up the NHS. But I beat that argument to his face in 10 seconds in 2018.
Would you accept that a population that has risen beyond anything we've ever seen in this country before has put massive pressure on the National Health Service?
I'd say that EU migrants make up 5% of the UK's population, and yet they make up 10% of our doctors. So rather than EU immigration being something that threatens the country, it is literally keeping it alive.
But then we get to the key bit where Jim Ratcliffe says that we're being colonised by immigrants.
Now, the use of the word colonisation, that's what he's withdrawn.
Do you think that's offensive?
I think it's probably, in the dictionary definition, correct, but perhaps people aren't quite ready for it.
The dictionary defines colonising as moving to a country and taking control of that country. Please name one group of immigrants that has control at a governmental level. I'll wait. So Nigel Farage is truly just doubling down on the lie here, and it goes further than that because that lie is utterly pathetic, trying to imply that people from the countries that we actually did colonize are the ones colonizing us. It's a kid at school complaining that the kid 5 years junior than him is bullying him. And this is coming from the alpha male, dude bro, strongman side of politics, but this is utterly cuck behavior.
There are 1 million people living in Britain who speak no English.
They say in the census they don't speak good English.
No, that's
doesn't mean there's a million aren't speaking any English at all.
5 million don't speak good English. 1 million speak no English at all.
Wrong again. In the census it says that only 161,000 people in the UK can't speak English at all. But you can hear how confidently he just bullshits to us.
Just a few miles east of here. We would see road signs, we would see London Underground signs, we would see bus stops with parallel foreign languages. Now that actually, to most people, is not acceptable.
Sorry, you're saying that London, one of the most international cities on the planet, has signage that accommodates people from different countries? Dear God, this country is truly broken. And I'm also hearing just now, like I live in Birmingham, so down the road from me in Wales, they also have signage in different languages. Oh, and I'm also hearing in Dover, where people are traveling between France and the UK, they also have signs in French. I don't know, it just makes me feel so scared and confused. Help me, Nigel. But I do like that when the interviewer brings up that economically we do actually need immigration, this is Nigel Farage's response.
Immigration, generally.
Do you know what? When I was first elected to the European Parliament in 1999, the word immigration didn't appear once on my literature. It wasn't an issue.
You skin-headed demon. You were a vocal supporter of Enoch Powell back in the day.
I thought Enoch Powell was right about the common market, and I thought he was right to talk about, not having vast community change.
You used to chase black people around your school telling them to go back to Africa. And you're going to sit there with a straight face and try and say that you never really thought about immigration until the 2000s? Rafa!
So Jim Ratcliffe himself is an economic migrant, isn't he? He lives in Monaco. Should he speak French or Monegasque living there?
He would probably argue that he's a refugee from the British tax system, but that's a separate debate.
He's an economic migrant, isn't he?
Monaco is a...
Is he an economic migrant, yes or no?
He's a tax migrant.
He's an economic migrant then, isn't he?
Yes, he is, but you know what? He's not claiming social security.
But he's
not claiming...
Stakes that huge on national TV.
I need to go back. I meant to stop it. Yeah. Did you hear the disdain in his voice when he answered that question? Yeah. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes, he is. But he's not on benefits. Yeah. What kind of foolishness is this? What are we playing with here? What's going on? But you can see the double-sidedness of it all, can't you? You can hear it in his voice. You can see it in his face. You can see it with his reluctance to even understand where the interview was coming from. Now, it's lucky that not every person in the UK thinks this way. But for me, I do believe reform is getting closer and closer to its goal, which is obviously trying to be in power. Now, that's going to come from bigoted people talking loosely like this. They misquote numbers on purpose. They use certain rhetoric and certain words on purpose to instill unrest and make sure that they rile up the UK public. Once you have people unrest and riled up, it's easy to divide them and then make your point. Yeah, it's like magicians. Yeah, look over here while we're doing something over here. Right? That's what they're doing. It's all distraction tactics. It's all because they need it to benefit themselves. Yeah. Once Brexit was over, he disappeared. He disappeared out of this country because he realized, guess what? Trading is harder now. Ever since Brexit happened, Now trading's harder, even though he was an advocate for Brexit. As soon as Brexit happened, he moved his business to Monaco, offshore business. Therefore, he could trade easier. Stupid. Brexit was dumb. Anyway, I'm not even going to go into that because that's another political matter that I can't even be bothered to get into right now. Yeah. But at least there were some people who came out and spoke up against what Sir Jim Ratcliffe said. Yeah. Listen to this.
Ratcliffe obviously has come out with some comments in an interview he did. He said that Britain has been colonised by immigrants who are draining resources from the state. You can't have an economy with 9 million on benefits and huge level of immigrants coming in. The UK has been colonised by immigrants, really, hasn't it? I mean, the population of the UK was 58 million in 2020. Now it's 70 million. That's 12 million people. Factually, he's obviously incorrect. The Office for National Statistics estimates the population of the UK was 67 million in the mid-2020 and 70 million in mid-2024. Owners of football clubs, right? They're generally the billionaires. They often seek to divide dividers. You know, I watched it and I mean, the hypocrisy, really. The guy's a migrant himself, an economic migrant. He lives in Monaco. Monaco. I mean, you can have a gripe all you like, but at least be here and be paying tax and contributing to our society. And I would say a lot of the immigrants, the migrants that do come in, contribute enormously, and facts show you that in terms of revenue, paying tax, etc. Whereas, you know, Jim out there, you know, in Monaco, is doing everything he can to avoid paying tax, I would suggest. So yeah, it's, I mean, there's and also, you know, you're one of the owners of Manchester United, a club that has a lot of players from overseas. When he's talking about colonised by immigrants, what is it okay for you, a white person, that you're living abroad and not a brown or black person? I don't know. Only he can answer that question. But lots and lots and lots of my friends that support Manchester United have come on and said similar things to Monaco. I mean, what I'm saying now, I think they're very disappointed in that. I mean, look at the story alone of Amid Diallo that has ended up here. So I find that deeply concerning.
Deeply, deeply concerning. Do you know what the funny thing is? Well done, Lineker. Round of applause for Gary. I did notice that Alan Shearer really didn't say fuck all though. All he said was Monaco. Yeah, but never mind. Yeah, at least someone on the other side, and I'm going to say this right now, someone on the white side, yeah, saying that it's foolishness that he's saying. Because when you hear stuff like what, what's his name again, Simon Jordan saying, it really makes you think, is this what everybody thinks? Is this what the whole of the UK thinks, really? Or are we just imposing upon your land and you just want us out of here? Because if that's the case, then the same should be said to you. I find it funny because I spoke to, I do believe it was We Deserve Better, when I was doing another show, or was it, I think he was on Botz's show, and he was saying how he was in Goa, you know, back in his mother's home country, and he said he saw more white faces than he did of his own kind. And that's crazy to say. And they were giving them disrespect on top of that. What's that called? This abhorrent behavior, as We Deserve Better dubbed it, abhorrent behavior from the English crowd that was there. And it's not just in places like India. Yeah, what about places like Spain, where you could say, you know, that, let's face it, there's a lot of English people living over in Spain. Well, we all know you colonized that as well. So when you talk about colonization, bro, you really got to be careful the way you throw around those kind of words when you know you're the most guilty of colonizations throughout the years. Throughout the years, Europe as a whole, yeah? This is the reason why you opened the borders anyway, yeah? To make sure that you could still benefit from trade from other people, yeah? People coming into your economy actually boosts your economy as long as they're working and contributing to that society, yeah? I wish you would check the number of people who are English, yeah, born and sitting on benefits rather than immigrants, yeah? Go and check those statistics. This is what you're missing. These are the things that when you come out and say these kind of things, you're definitely going to blow a hole in the way people think about you and the way people approach working with you in the future. Now you seem like a liability. Now it seems like you're a bigot. Now it seems like nobody should trust you as far as they should throw you. And you know what? Shout out to Darren Lewis, by the way. Very respected. If you don't know who Darren Lewis is, very respected journalist over here in the UK. He covers sports and other political matters. He also came out and had something to say against what Sir Jim Ratcliffe had to say. Take a look at this.
United fans were not having Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and now I know, because I did a double take when I saw the link in my WhatsApp group about Jim Ratcliffe. Britain has been colonised by migrants, he's told Sky News. And when you listen to his words and you read the body of the text that accompanies the excellent interview by Ed Conway, you realise, yes, that really is what he said. And it's so hard to know where to start with that. I don't know what to tell you, particularly if your parents, like mine, come from overseas. These are his words. The UK has been colonised by immigrants, really, hasn't it? I mean, the population of the UK was 58 million in 2020. Now it's 70 million. That's 12 million people. There admits he recently met with the Reform corporate lobby group leader, Nigel Farage. And that's when his brass neck, his offensive language and his delusional grip on the actual facts all become crystal clear. Because hang on, Mr. Ratcliffe, aren't you a migrant? Aren't you an economic migrant? Don't you live in Monaco? Aren't you a part owner in a club that reaps the benefits of immigration and has a multicultural fan base? And just so you know, the UK population in 2020 wasn't 58 million, it was 67 million. And today it's around 69 million. Check the Office for National Statistics. But you see, this is the point. These guys, they go around, they throw this kind of thing around because they know they can. And even though Ed does a great job of saying, hang on a minute, really? These guys don't care about the consequences. They don't care about you or me. We live in a society, as you know, where the elites operate on a completely different planet to you and to me. And they're allowed to do so because everyone just moves on and focuses on the football or the gossip or the political infighting and ignores the bigger picture on a number of things. Thankfully, Man United fans' love is for the club, not for the people who see them as cash cows, customers. And hopefully the club's fans will read this and come to their own conclusions about just what the club's part owner thinks of them. Because millions of people trapped in the cost of living crisis, struggling to feed their kids, weighing up whether to eat or heat their houses, those people are closer to the people arriving here on small boats than they are to the billionaires who come out with this kind of thing once they're done taking their money. With his comments about the UK, Ratcliffe is talking about a country that colonised and appropriated, which is just a posh word for stole, the wealth of countries from around the world. Ratcliffe has put his head above the parapet to show just why so many people who had a bad feeling about him were probably right to trust their instincts.
Yes, Darren, as usual, as usual, with just straight facts. Yeah, I love that because it's true. Yeah, it's not just the Manchester United fans as well that were worried. Do you know what the funny thing is? Yeah, it's so funny how Manchester United as well is trying to distance themselves from this. You know, thank you, Connor, for sending this to me. Yeah, immigration has done more for this city than billionaire tax dodgers will ever do. Ever will. I don't know who put that up. This looks like it's a Manchester United poster. It looks like it's official Manchester United. You know, it's got imagery of Rashford on there. I doubt you can use this imagery unless you are Manchester United. So that's crazy. It's crazy that Manchester United as a football club, also are trying to distance themselves from this Egypt. Bigotry, people. This is all it is. Bigotry. Yeah. I hope you can see it. I hope you understand what's going on because people like Sir Jim will always be here. And by the way, do you want to hear his bumbling half-assed apology? Yeah, here we go. Do you know what? Let's hear his bumbling half-assed apology.
React Now from Sir Jim Ratcliffe, despite all the expressions of concern last night, it's taken more than 12 hours or so to say that I am sorry that my choice of language has offended some people in the UK and Europe and caused concern. So that is a...
Let's just double back on that and just listen to that again so you can hear his apology nice and clear. One more time from the top.
We repeat that reaction now from Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Despite all the expressions of concern last night, it's taken more than 12 hours or so to say that I am sorry that my choice of language has offended some people in the UK and Europe and caused concern. So that is a partial apology, because he then...
Imagine my man said, this is my apology. Fuck you. Yeah. First of all, I said, fuck you. And then I went, hey, I'm sorry if my words offended you. What? So you're not sorry you said the words? I never said I'm sorry I said the words. I said, I'm sorry that he offended you. That's your problem. That sounds like a you problem, fam. That's basically what he's saying. That sounds like a you problem, blood. Like, well, no, anyway, let him finish.
Goes on to still say, but it is important to raise the issue of controlled and well-managed immigration that supports economic growth. So he's talking about how it's offended some people, no recognition of the concern created amongst the Manchester United fans, a club that has a diverse workforce, the playing squad, the off-field staff as well. And Manchester United's own website celebrates the diversity, particularly of Manchester, a city that's grown through migration from across the world. It very much, his comments were at odds with the ideals that are promoted not only by Manchester United, but also by the Premier League as well. So now we'll see what the response will be from those in football. The fact Sir Jim Ratcliffe has offered a partial apology, not completely withdrawing his statement in saying that
he never was going to offer a full apology. But hey, big up Excedra in the building as well. Hey guys, like I said, for some reason my comments are not coming up in StreamYard, so I can't bring anything up to the screen. So I'm just looking on my phone and seeing the comments as I'm doing the live stream in it. So apologies for not being able to bring in your comments up on screen. But guys, this is what I'm talking about. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy that in this day and age, because let's be honest right now, this is the kind of stuff that's bleeding over from America. This is why I'm kind of worried that reform is going to get into power, right? Just look at the pattern, yeah? There's a reason why Sir Jim Ratcliffe will come out those kind of words now, yeah? Reform is gaining traction in the UK due to economic unrest and unease of the British citizens in the UK right now, because turmoil has been building because they're trying to push this rhetoric that the better we are divided, it's easiest for them to control us. Yeah, imagine there's going to be now people who are long-term immigrants turning against new immigrants, saying that you shouldn't be here because you're taking away money from the system or you're not contributing to the system right now. Do you know what the funny thing is, people? One thing we have to remember as well. Most refugees, yeah, because what you have to realize is there's going to be bad eggs in every society. Every society has their bad eggs, no matter what color you are, yeah? You could be black, white, or indifferent. It don't matter. Everybody knows a scumbag in their society. It's just that simple, yeah? Nobody's society doesn't have a scumbag in it. Everybody's society has a scumbag in it. And no matter what kind of benefits you try to put in place, what kind of stoppers, what kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Anything that you put down good, there's always going to be someone to try and take advantage of it. That's always going to be the case. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter how you live. Someone within your society will look to take advantage of whatever pleasantries that you're given, no matter what. But does that then give you the right to label a whole faction of people who've been contributing, by the way, over a number of years Oh, do you know what? Do you know what really? Do you know what really pisses me off? Yeah, there was a situation where they was asking this guy, this freaking Nigel Farage, yeah, this clown, yeah, where they was asking this guy questions about if he agrees with kicking people out as soon as he comes in, you know, if he gets into power. He said that it wouldn't be a straight away thing, but he would definitely be kicking anybody out who was on benefits and not contribute. Now, if you've thought about this, what if your mother or your father have been working for years and years and years, you know, contributed what they could to the economy, and then now they're on benefits at the end? What if they need medical help? What if they're taken sick by contributing over and over again to this economy, and now they need a rest? Is it not legible for people over a certain age? I don't know. It's crazy though, because I do believe that Nigel Farage wants to be the new Donald Trump in it. Let's just face it. Nigel Farage wants to be the new Donald Trump. That's what he wants. And because Donald Trump's in power, he thinks it's his time to now secure the UK with this bigotry type of talk, bigotry type of ideas. And you know what? Before I open the lines and get other people's opinions on this, I got one more video that I think I'd like to share, actually. It's just one video that... Oh, no, actually, I showed you Sir Jim's... Did I show you what Darren Lewis said after? This is what Darren Lewis had to say about Sir Jim's apology in the first place. Have a look at this as well before I go to the next thing.
Intended to revisit this subject, but I'll be honest with you, I really don't need an apology or a clarification from Jim Ratcliffe for saying that the UK has been colonised by immigrants, and I certainly didn't need any of the politicians whose principles are fluid, to say the least, calling for him to say sorry on my behalf or yours, because when someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them. And Ratcliffe's latest statement is basically him saying, I said what I said, but next time I'll use different language. And when you look at his initial statement, it can be interpreted as saying to millions within the global fan base of Manchester United, which he part owns, we want your money, but we don't want you here in the UK. So it's been really good to see on Thursday evening that the club has taken the step of distancing itself from his comments, because with those words, Ratcliffe showed himself to be the latest in a long line of guys weaponizing the lie that we and our immigrant parents, our relatives, our children, we are an economic drain on the UK. But then these guys don't care about history books. Facts are inconvenient to them. They want us uninformed enough to not push back on their lies and misrepresentations. Otherwise, you'd be able to remind them, as I said in my initial post on this subject, that it was British colonisation that pushed people out of their countries, tore apart generations, plundered resources, left more than 100 million people dead across Africa, the Caribbean and India, subjected millions of men, women and children to brutal forced labour, famine, rape and violence. The racial hierarchies that were established by British colonialism, they exist to this day. In fact, it is Britain that forgets its history when it comes to the people it invited over to this country to help rebuild it after the Second World War. If Ratcliffe wants to have that immigration conversation, I'm all ears. He should start with the questions around his own living arrangements and the tax situation in Monaco, or maybe the fact that in December, his company, Ineos, received from the government a support package worth £120 million. If Ratcliffe still wants to have the conversation, he might want to know that the government numbers show that migrants contribute significantly to the UK economy. They fill skills gaps, they run their own businesses, they often pay more in taxes than they take out in benefits. And you know, football fans need to put the tribalism to one side. on this particular issue and join forces, because this is not something to laugh at Manchester United fans over. Ratcliffe is talking about millions of people way beyond Manchester United's fan base. His initial comments disrespect the workers within his own club's foundation and the very communities that foundation works so incredibly hard to help. Thanks to so many of you who made so many important points in the comments of the previous post, my previous post on this subject, because it is true. These are guys who don't want us breathing the same air as them, or getting on, or reaping the benefits of the structures that our parents helped to build. So they dress up xenophobia as meritocracy and nationalism as protection. And they rest easy because they know that with the news agenda that moves at a breakneck speed, you will move on, you will forget. Actually, they're banking on it. So don't wait for someone else to say something on this, you speak on it.
You heard it from Darren first. Do not wait for someone else to speak on it. Speak on it yourself, and this is what I am doing. Do you know what, yeah? Fuck Ratcliffe, bro. Do you know what? It just goes to show you, yeah? And I know, you know, I don't even want to get too political, but it just goes to show you where Britain is going at this point, yeah? Get ready for it, innit? Yeah. If reform get in, Sir Jim is part of it. Sir Jim is part of the faction that think reform is right, that they've got some good ideas. If you're not listening to what he's saying, Farage is a smart guy. He aligns with some of his ideas now. Even though he's an immigrant, his blood clot self. England needs to really allow it with this immigration thing, you know, because English people don't like living in England, bro. English people don't like living in England. It's like they fucking forgot, like they have houses in Spain. You know how much of them live in the Caribbean? People migrate because they don't like the climate where they live in, or they want a change of their living circumstances. It happens to all of us. Even when I was working in the last place I was working, even my brethren was like, you know what, bro, I might go live in Portugal and then come back here to work when I need to come in. Hear that? Why can't we just live around the world? The world is an open place. You people created borders. And why is it always you bigots, the ones at the top that are talking about shit like this, when I think the common man really doesn't give a damn? And if they do give a damn, I don't know why you give a damn. Yeah, because none of this talk is benefiting you. If you want to work, listen, if you're one of these people who think that the people are coming over here and taking your jobs, like I've said, that's a you fucking problem. How are you letting a man come over here in a dinghy and then outworking you? You blood clot lazy then, innit? You're too content with the way that you're living that you're not willing to change and stand up and do something for yourself. Because why? Because you're comfortable. Because you're comfortable. And because you're comfortable, you got lazy. Do you understand me? And laziness is the root of all evil, people. Yeah, you don't want to be a lazy cunt in this kind of economy because you become a bum. You become a bum. Yeah. So I don't know why everybody's always complaining that people are taking their jobs and yada, 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 and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I think this is going to be the last video that I'm going to share before I open the lines. I've got one more. Actually, maybe I might do this one at the end. I'll save this one for the end, actually. No, I don't think I will. I think I'm going to play it now. So many good videos, people. Now, I can't remember this guy's name yet, but once again, I was going through Insta, and this made me stop and check because he's talking about political things all over the world, really. But this one really resonated with me right now because of what we're going through and the subject we're talking about right now. So just have a quick listen to this.
We could overthrow the government like tomorrow, like today, like.
One more time.
So, you know, we could overthrow the government like tomorrow, like today, like right now. I'm serious. By the way, I'm not trying to promote violence or anything reckless. I'm just keeping it real for this video. If regular people stopped showing up tomorrow, stopped clocking in, stopped buying, stopped complying with bullshit that only benefits the top, everything would freeze. Everything. And I'm not talking about riots or protests. I'm not talking about burning anything down. I'm talking about the truth nobody wants to admit. This system only works because we keep it alive. We, yes, the people. We, humans, yes, worldwide. Every road you drive on, maintained by workers. Every hospital, staffed by people who are underpaid and tired. Every app, warehouse, classroom, grocery store, power grid. That's us. Not politicians, not billionaires. Us. Us. They sit at the top acting untouchable, but they don't grow the food. They don't deliver packages. They don't clean buildings. They don't teach the kids. They don't heal the sick. They manage power. We are the power. Let me say that again. They manage power. We are the power. And you want to know the craziest part? They know it. That's why they keep us divided. Race against race, rich versus poor, citizen against immigrant, straight versus gay, red versus blue. Because if we ever looked up and said, wait a minute, why are we fighting each other while they eat off of our backs? The game would be over. Again, I'm not calling for violence. I'm calling for awareness. Don't twist my words, because y'all love to do that. I'm not calling for violence. I'm calling for awareness. There's a difference. Violence is what happens when people feel unheard. Awareness is what happens when people finally see the leverage they've always had. Real change does not come from chaos. It comes from refusal. Refusing to be lied to, refusing to be distracted, refusing to be divided, refusing to believe we are powerless when the entire structure depends on our participation. History did not change because somebody screamed louder. It changed when the people said enough is enough, no more, and meant it. And you know what's crazy, bro? The system does not need to be attacked for it to collapse. It just needs people to stop holding it up.
Woo! Woo, 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 woo. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. All right, then. Now I know, you know what? Now I know why this thing is moving mad, because I had it on private earlier, and this is why I'm not even able to share the fucking link. That's going to piss me off. All right. Let me see if I can do it a different way. 1 second, people. But yeah, I hope you guys took in everything he just said, yeah, because, yeah, fire. We are the power. They manage the power. True words were never spoken, yeah? Because if you turn around, everybody right now turn around and said, fuck it, I'm not doing no work tomorrow. What are they going to do about it? What are they going to do about it? You think they're going to get up out their bed and come and work? No, they're not going to get up out their bed and come and work. This is why they want us to be, this is why AI was to come in soon, because soon they don't want to they don't want to need us. They want to be able to have things automated so they don't need us. But let's not even go into that subject right now, because that's a whole nother subject. So, right, I need to find out how the F I'm going to do this. Right, so I've copied the link. Yeah, let me see what's going on with this stream now. Let's go back. This is going to be hard, yo. All right, check this. There must be a way, right? Here we go. Booyah! I've just shared the link in my YouTube studio instead of on here. I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed. I don't know why it is, because on StreamYard it's on public, and on YouTube it's on public. So that's why I can't see my chat list in here, which is pissing me off. But it's all right. It's all right. We'll make do. We'll make do right now, innit? Oh, straight away we got a caller straight through the door. Let me actually pin the link as well. Let me pin the link at the top here. Just make sure I'm moving like a proper YouTuber. All right, let's go. First through the door, Connor. Why? Why? Connor, what the fuck is this?
It's Mark and what's the South African guy? Nelson Mandela. I had the other image set as this. Do you want me to keep my other image? I just thought I'd change it to something a bit less, you know.
You know, at least I can see what you listen. No worries, bro. I don't mind whichever one you want to.
I just thought I'd change it because I just didn't really have much else appropriate. Like, we'll go with a terrorist. Why not?
Yeah, go on. Let's do it. As soon as we're talking about terrorists, we'll leave it there, innit? We're talking about national terrorists right now, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. a man against the people, against his own people, Manchester.
Yeah, just a quick little point on the thingy on that last video you played. I think that video is kind of stupid. I'm not gonna lie, because the idea that you can just stop everyone can like if everyone rolls up and stopped everything, like things would automatically change. It wouldn't. It just cause society to collapse. Because if you had the idea that
we are the ones that are in control of that. If you
yeah,
catch what he's saying, we're not saying it would, but they would have to listen then, wouldn't they?
yeah, but I'm saying, what would you want to change from the current society? Of course, obviously, you'd want things to be more fair, more equal. You want things to work out better, but realistically, it's never going to happen. And like the idea that it won't. There's more chance of if people stop doing like the day-to-day stuff, stop going to work, stop doing everything like that. There's more chance of society actually collapsing in on itself, and then it leads to people looting, rioting, stealing for what they need because, well, they've not got it. They're not going to work. They've not got money. They can't buy what they need. People aren't going to be at the shops opening the shops to serve you because people aren't turning up to shifts. Say you need to buy baby formula, but as the shut, people aren't turning up to work. Do you reckon people? Do you reckon people will be waiting like, oh, we'll wait for them to open? What did you say, sir?
Highly missing the point of what he was trying to get at.
I get his point, but I just don't agree with it. I don't think it'd work.
But you know what? To each their own. Because if you can't see that as a structure, as a political structure,
as a structure, yeah.
Society, bro, it's the people who hold the power over those who govern the power. Do you know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah,
So,
I get that point. I get that point totally. Like, obviously, the people have the power and all. I just don't think it'd work in the way that he describes it as like, oh, if we all stopped, it wouldn't work. But on to Jimmy Boy and the UK political system right now.
Yes.
Jim looks like Jack Skeleton every time I see him. Like, geez, can Rashford get him a dinner at this point? Like, he looks scrawny as fuck.
Through it, bro. Look at him.
Nah, he looks skinny every time I see him. Jack Skeleton vibes.
Bro, something's going on with him. Maybe he's worried, innit? Yeah, because I heard that Ineos ain't doing so well right now, is it?
Never is. Well, the way the UK political thing is right now, people are just not happy. And it is kind of just a stick that's been used to beat people with for years. It's not even a stick to beat people with years. It's the common excuse of what people look for. If there's an excuse that people can commonly rely upon to blame something, they're going to use it. They're going to blame people for it no matter what. And when you look at it, when you look back across the last 10 years, it was, last 10 years, from when Brexit happened. From when Brexit happened to when Brexit was finished around 2020, all you ever saw news was about Brexit this, Brexit that, Brexit caused this. Then after COVID started, COVID caused these prices. Then the war in Ukraine, it caused the price of wheat and grain to go up. Oil prices have now gone up, and that's going to be the new blame thing. And now when you look at it, it's, the small boats are coming, the small boats are causing these issues, it's this issue, it's that issue. Well, no matter what you look back across the last 10 years of the UK political system, it's always a new thing each week to blame for it. Like, it might take a few years for it to evolve on what the blame is, but it's no matter, it's always going to change. Like,
why do we just accept things like that though? I don't like to sit down and say, oh, it's never going to change, it's never going to change, it's never going to change, because you know why? That's when I believe. See that right now, a lot of people I'm speaking to are like, oh, I'm not even going to vote. I'm not even going to vote this year because I'm just voting. Everybody's the same. But you know what? No, not everybody's the same. Yeah. People like this guy will try to kick you out the country. You need to be careful what you're voting for when you're voting. And some people don't want to vote. I guarantee you right now, that's a mistake. Yeah.
See, that's the thing of, I don't know who to vote for because there's no good choice in my mind. Because you have the Conservatives that we've had since 2010, wasn't it? Yes. Like, for the first 5 or so years, maybe they were doing all right. They introduced some new good schemes, maybe they helped the country a little bit. But then they launched Brexit. Brexit was a total disaster, clusterfuck, whatever you want to call it. It ruined the British economy. It's ruined our trade with Europe. It's ruined our ability to actually manage the small boats. Do you know what the great thing about being in the EU was, Joe? Do you know when we had a small boat land on our British shores? Do you know what we could do? We could treat it like a cross coming into the box when we didn't like it when they were attacking our goal. If they landed on our shores, we could hit them back out because we're a part of the EU. That's what having EU membership did. It allowed us to kick the bolts out the second they landed. If you don't like the analogy, it's football analogy. We have to make it sure everyone can understand.
Do you know what? Yeah, it's so funny that you say that. Yeah, because what do you feel like it's been like under the Labour government so far? Because you said you don't know who to vote for, and I don't want to make this show too political, but we're gonna have to.
Yeah, the current Labour government. I'm not a fan personally. I like left policies. I'm a centralist at heart. I like left policies. I like right policies. I feel like there's a great balance in between that can be found. Because the NHS, I love it. I love the NHS in the sense of I like National Health Service. I like having security on that. I like welfare in the sense of it helps the poorest people in the society. But I also like the idea of having the ability to have tax cuts for some big corporations. I like the idea of having cuts for people in them positions, because when you look at what millionaires and billionaires contribute to the economy, it is valuable. You can't deny the value of it, but you can't also give them.
Why is our billionaire not contributing to the economy right now, though? But he's not
because he's a
contributing.
dick. Because he's a dick.
But this is what I'm saying. How does he even have any right to? How does he have any right to even speak on the subject when he's someone who's not contributing his tax dollars to the UK right now? Do you know what I mean?
He shouldn't have his right. He shouldn't have his right to contribute his tax dollars. He should contribute them. Much to that, he should have his rights to contribute them, but he's not. He's a dick. But
and I find it funny as well, right? That they're saying. Do you know the funny thing? I think was it Farage was saying that he's gonna try and bring in a one in, one out kind of policy, yeah, in terms of immigration. So like he thinks he would have the numbers locked down, like one comes in, one goes out.
Well, that's what Labour have tried to introduce. Labour tried to introduce that.
Acquire for when people have babies, though. That makes no fucking sense.
Hey, 2 for the price of 1. Buy one, you get one free. Actually, no, that sounds a bit racist. That one with the buy one get one free thing.
Oh, yeah,
not a race.
Get out, Connor. Get out. Should never start talking to Connor when it's something serious. I should never start with Connor. Yeah, I should learn this. Let me bring in the next caller. Riri, how you doing? Riri, how you doing, sis? How you doing?
Good evening, Joe.
Call it what it is. Let me just put that a little bit bigger. 1 second. I need to enlarge your screen there for a second. And then move my shit. Riri says, call it what it is. Racism. See it there? Down there at the bottom. I hope you can see it, people. She ain't wrong.
So let me get this straight. Based on what that young Caucasian caller previously was saying, it doesn't matter what we do, nothing changes. So if we're to go by what he is saying, then racism should, slavery should still be a thing. Because from my knowledge, the slaves actually uprised and forced them to abolish slavery and get themselves freed. But in order to do that, they had to be uncomfortable. A lot of them had to die for the cause.
Yes.
What I think it is about our society is that we are so comfortable that we are not willing to do what our ancestors did.
100%.
A lot of us are not willing to go to jail. A lot of us are not willing to give up our niceties and whatever to fight against the tyranny and the colonization by the so-called or want to be superior race. The reason they are coming for the minorities is because the birth rate of minorities is twice as much as that of the so-called superior race. They are now becoming the minorities in the world. And they don't like that. Let's be real serious about what this is. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's not go around the words. Let's not be politically correct, because it's not just happening in Great Britain. It's not just happening in America. It's happening around the world.
Facts.
I am at a place right now that I'm really contemplating not following Manchester United anymore.
Is that because of just Sir Jim? Or is
Of
there
course.
further-
No,
is
that's
there-
because of Sir Jim and the other owners, which there's a word I'm going to use, but I can use, but I'm not going to use it on your channel because I do not want you to get shadow banned and I don't want you to get whatever you're trying to get. So because of you, I will not use that word. But our
I'm
own,
already
our,
shadow banned. I'm not even gonna
pardon me?
lie. Drop it.
Say that?
I think I'm actually shadow banned right now. I'm not. But say it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So we are basically owned by Zionists and racists. I don't support either.
Oh, you think you can't say Zionist on my channel? You can say Zionist on my channel. I'll tell you
Okay.
that right now. 100%.
So that is who we are owned by. And because of that, I do not support Zionism and I do not support racism of any form. And for me, those are two more important topics than football.
Listen, this is much bigger than football. This is transcends football now.
But that's what I'm saying.
Like today, I was at my family's dinner and we were talking about this. This transcends football. My auntie, my mom, they don't watch football.
But my point, what I'm trying to make, Joe, is that a lot of these fans are going to overlook that stuff because they're like, football is, you know.
Whitewashing thing, you know. This is that sports whitewashing thing that they do. They put in politics into the sports and then try to it with the
But
sport.
that's where I'm saying people have to start wanting to be uncomfortable. You have in order to actually say you're fighting this fight, you have to become uncomfortable. You have to stop supporting the machine that is causing all of this. But how many of us are going to do that? How many of us are going to stop actually going to the games? How many of us are going to stop supporting the people who own the club, who are literally saying to us, we don't want you, we don't want your money?
Never said all of that. Trust me. He wants the money. Yeah. There's one thing about these people that you have to understand. It's okay when you're working for them, but you can't sit next to them. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Almost definitely, but then majority of us is fine with that. Majority of us is fine with the crumbs. Majority of us is fine saying, oh, well, you know, at least I have a job. But you're getting kicked in the teeth every single day.
It's user mentality. And do you know why I know as well, yeah, by the way, yes, is that it's all politically driven, yeah? The fact that they keep on saying Keir Starmer's name after they mention these migration numbers. They keep on trying to poke it at the Labour government's fault, like it's the Labour government's fault. Do you know, like, I went up and checked it, yeah? The year ending June 2025, right? Provisional net migration dropped sharply to 204,000, yeah? That's a 69 decrease from the 650 in the year ending June 2024, nearly 80% below the 2023 peak.
Because Joe, if you look at it, the minorities do not want to come to these countries anymore because of how they're treated. They would rather stay in their own country and deal with what they're dealing in and build their own country. And that is a problem also, because guess what? Look at Africa. Look at what a lot of the leaders in Africa are currently doing. They are forcing out the expats. They are forcing out the colonizers, and they are taking their country back. They don't like that. That is not good for business for them. People need to understand this is more than what he said, more than what is going on in England. It is bigger. It is a lot bigger.
The climate's been changing for a while as well, you know.
Yes, of course.
It's been changing for a while, and I'm not gonna lie. It's since Trump has been on the scene even more. This redneck behavior that he's pushing, yeah. And
But you can't blame. But Joe, you can't blame one man. He may have opened Pandora.
it's
He may
collective.
not have. He may have helped to open Pandora's box. But
At the same time,
say that again.
sorry. I said it feels like it's a team effort. Like they're all pushing it around the
They were
same
just
time.
Joe. But this has been bubbling under the surface for a lot of years. It was coming regardless. It's just people have been sleepwalking and they have not been noticing the signs. It has been coming. People, we as a people, we sleepwalk, and we're sleepwalking back into slavery.
Oh, shit. Fuck. Okay.
We are
When you say
sleepwalking back into apartheid.
you add a
We are
little bit.
sleepwalking back into apartheid. We're sleepwalking back into segregation. If we do not wake up and realize what it is these people are pushing, we're gonna wake up. We're actually gonna wake up one day and be like, yo, like how you say, what the fuck? And by then it'll be too late.
It's true. It's true. But this is why I want people to keep their eyes open and not just swallow every pill everybody gives you.
Of course.
As well, they love to push these numbers, right? They say these wrong numbers, but these are the things that people on the street will quote. Yeah, people on the street will talk with chest like they know what they're talking about. Oh,
Yeah, that's because they have weaponized social media to suit their narrative.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I mean, social media was always weaponized anyway. I remember during the first time Trump was going into the presidential elections, right? It was that whole thing with Zuckerberg and all the fake news on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, all the fake news. They always control the narrative. It's been that way.
Most definitely.
Once he's in, though, he's in, and that's it. There's no turning it around. For 4
No,
years.
but again, like I said, in order for us to make a change, we have to be like our ancestors and choose to be uncomfortable to force change. Change is not going to come if we just sit here and just have conversation upon conversation and there's no action. There is no taking a stand. There's no standing for anything. It's never going to come that way. We can talk till we're blue in the face, but if we don't start taking action, then no change will become. No change will become. If there wasn't revolution, Joe, you know this. If the Haitian slaves did not revolt, the Caribbean would probably still be colonized. Think about it.
Yeah. I mean, there's Madame Nancy as well, yeah, in Jamaica.
Yes.
Yeah. That they would always revolt, put it that way. If you don't revolt, nothing changes. Things only change.
But in order to revolt, you have to recognize that, not all of us are going to make it out onto the other side, but our efforts will foster a change and make them understand that we will not go quietly into the night.
That's why they want us soft. They want us to keep soft, Riri. That's why.
Yeah, of course.
They want us to keep soft.
But I know you have other callers, so I'm going to let you go.
Riri, thank you as always for calling in, man. Always bring some light to the conversation. Thank you very, 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 very much for that. It's true. If you don't stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. As so the great saying says, isn't it? Like, if you don't stand for anything, you will fall for anything. Yeah. And oh boy, let's see what the next caller has to say. Oh, Ray, what's going on, bro?
Big up, mate. How are you, man? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, man. Yeah, what can I start? I say, yeah, this whole Sir Jim thing is this is why language is important. And people seem to think people with money is intelligent and can use language. When he used the word colonialism, I don't even think he knows what the hell that is. Because
he knows. Try. If I'm gonna say you one thing right now, yeah, Ray, I believe he chose his words carefully. Because when the man asked him, colonized, like, really? He went,
yeah.
Yeah, Britain's being colonized by you. And you know what he's doing as well? He's repeating Nigel Farage rhetoric. That's what he's doing.
That's what he's doing. But how can, even if there's immigrants, how are these people coming into this and forcing their culture onto England? And this is what I was saying to a lot of people. When people like say, "Oh yeah, he's right," but hang on, okay, immigrants are coming. They're not going to not speak English. You're certainly not going to wear a turban. You're certainly not going to go to the motherland in Africa. So nobody's going to colonize this country, man. And that is what I'm saying. And this is why this guy needs to get out the club, because he's now put United. He's now gone past football. He's now bringing it into disrepute. How are you going to analyze? Sorry,
Nah. Look what you did to We Deserve Better, Smith. Nah. Woo! How indeed, sir. How indeed. Woo! I'm gonna bring you back now, Ray.
Okay, man. No worries, man. No worries. I mean, how are you gonna analyze all? Yeah.
Alienize.
Okay. Alienize. That's the word. Alienize half of your fan base talking about all these things, and you know what I mean. And he's like, this guy is so silly. Doesn't he even know that the CEO is not even British? And he's like, I don't know what this guy is on, man.
He's married to an immigrant. He's married to an immigrant.
Exactly. What is he on? I mean,
they choose their words right. I mean, sorry, I said no. They choose their words right, but they're not thinking of how close in proximity that's so close to home. Do you know what I mean? It's too close for you to be saying these things, bro. You yourself live in a different country, yeah? How many English people enjoy living in a different country? How many English people live in Spain?
Exactly, the Caribbean. Loads of them have houses in the Caribbean. Loads of them are living off the land in the Caribbean. You know what I mean? You should be careful what you say.
In Britain's old colonies.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And this is the thing. And when he said that, he should have been forced to sell, because it's like, you're not representing Manchester United. You're now trying to be political, but you should never put political and football together.
Well, to be fair, we have to look at some things in context. It's not like he sat down, was talking about Man United, and then they said, "Oh yeah, get these bloody people out." It wasn't that. He was asked a question, but just to see, look, it's like Darren Lewis said, yeah. When someone shows you who they are, accept it. Don't try to look at anything else. He's told us his views. Why is anybody else trying to? Oh no, but he didn't mean this. He didn't mean that, brother. He said it himself.
Exactly, bro.
I'm saying, don't try to look for some sort of words behind the words. Just take his words for face value as he gave it to you and accept what he said. He's a bigot.
He's a bigot, bro.
Immigrants coming into this country because we're colonizing it, by the way. Colonizing.
I mean, you
pass the word and say, sorry, go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, I mean, when you say, "Oh, people are coming in and colonizing," you're trying to put the fear into everybody, and trying to say, "Oh," and the minority, not even a majority, a minority of people come in, and you're trying to put the fear and trying to push your bodies for Farage's silly stuff, just like he did all those years ago when we came out of Europe, when he tried to say, "Oh, we're coming out of Europe. The Europeans are trying to stop us speaking English." And did that work? No.
Do you know what I find funny? Yeah, every so many years, the immigrants get blamed for something else. Have you not noticed that? The immigrants are taking our jobs. The immigrants are taking our houses. The immigrants are eating up the tax system. Oh no, the immigrants. Do you know what I'm saying, bro? Which one is it? Why is? Oh my God, immigrants are. Oh, recently with Tony Robertson was. Oh, the immigrants are to blame for all the sexual assault and abuse that's going on out there as well.
That is the biggest rhetoric I hear from a lot of people, even from some of our own fans. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, well they're causing all the problems and doing all of this sexual assaults and all of this. I'm like, well, come on, mate. Look at the statistics, bro. There are what 3%, 3% of people who are immigrants and thing all of that. Probably even less because I haven't got the statistics in front of me to say. But I know it's not any
What do you
high.
want to know? How many immigrants are in the UK percent-wise? Is that what you want to
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you. Google knows everything, mate. How many, how many immigrants are in the UK currently, percentage-wise? It's thinking. Let's have a look. Counting for roughly 16% of the total population.
60%, and the total population will
Total
probably be
population as of the 2021-2022 census is approximately 10.7 million people living in the UK were born abroad, accounting for roughly 16% of the total population of the UK.
Well, there you go. And then they're trying to tell us that the immigrants are a cause of all the crime, and the crime has increased because 16% of people can commit all these crimes. And half of the villages you go through around England are not even fully immigrant like that.
Okay, I can say that, you know, where you see the biggest melting pots in England is in the cities, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
The rural parts of England, and which there's much more of, you know, rural parts of England.
Exactly.
You find hardly any black people. Yeah?
Thank you.
Just, you know, one or two dotted around here or there, or Asian people, one or two dotted around
Thank
here.
you.
Not to say that I've covered the whole of England, because I have not, yeah. But from what I have seen, because I did have to travel around England quite a lot. You know, I went to Scotland for
Yeah.
I went up there 2 separate times for 2 weeks, right? And the first time I went up there, didn't see one black person, didn't see one Indian person. Do you know, I went into an Indian shop. I was looking for takeaway food, right? And I was looking for Indian people or Asian people, as in Chinese people, right? Indian or Chinese or something, right? And I would deliberately went into every shop in Scotland that I was in the area of, and I was like, there's a white person cooking. I went to the Chinese shop. I said, there's a white person cooking. I said, where is everybody? You know how alien I felt in Scotland?
Exactly.
In Ayrshire and Arran. Yeah, that's the area I was in, Ayrshire in Scotland. And there was no black people, no Indian people, no Chinese people. Couldn't find one. Yeah. And this is what I mean. It is crazy to think that they seem to think that we're taking over when in some places that we don't even exist.
Exactly, bro. This is what I'm crazy because I live in the rural parts of England, bro, and I can guarantee you. Sorry.
What area do you live in, if you don't mind me asking? Sorry.
Oh, just outside of Lancashire, Yorkshire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Population-wise, black, white, indifferent.
Well, where I live is more white than black. And you know what I mean? When I go places, bro, I'm the only black guy there. So this is what I'm saying. The figures and the ratio it never adds up to what they come and tell you. And it's always the guys who are bigots and pushing this. Always trying to tell, oh well, the guys with the legal documents are doing this and they're doing that and this and that. And I'm like, bro, some cities you go to, yeah, you can guarantee you won't see, especially if you're going into the real Euro places. What I'm talking about, like, you know, places where either the housing, how to buy a house would probably cost you 200 million or something. You're not gonna, you're not gonna see any immigrants there. So how are they gonna? What are they doing? That's what I'm saying, man.
It's a common fear.
It's the fear mongering, and it's the fear mongering that pisses me off. And
you know the thing where someone's trying to just instill something in you, where if there's a little bit of fire in you about a subject, if they get you riled up about it, it causes unrest. Do you know what I mean? It's called creating division.
To get their votes. That's all it is.
But do you know what? He's starting early because it's not even election time yet. He's doing campaigning for Farage, and this is what's pissing me off. My owner of my football team as well. This is what I'm saying. So the things that Reba was saying as well, right, kind of hit me hard because I was thinking, she's right. Nothing's going to change if people don't do something. And I hear what Connor's saying, nothing's going to change, but that's the ideas we need to stop, because nothing will ever change if everybody says nothing's going to change. Do you get what I mean?
Bro, I've given up my ticket and I'm not buying another ticket. And I don't even know if I want to buy another ticket now because of what I hear this man is saying.
Some of the black supporters, you know, and some of the Asian supporters on TikTok and on Insta. I've seen people saying, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm done."
Yeah. I mean, you know, I mean, there's a whole other show for that about why I was done in the first place. But now I'm even more done now because I'm thinking, bro, you don't even want me. You don't even want me to be there, and I'm going to be like, oh yeah, United, and it's like you're trying to say a few, as you said, 16% of people are going to come colonize your country, and you're not even in this country. You're going to Monaco, so you're not colonizing Monaco.
Can I ask you a question? How did his response, his apology sit with you?
Bullshit. You don't mean that. It's just like, oh yeah, well, I'm sorry for certain things, but he said it already. Said it. He already said it. When somebody is like a drunken man, when you know when the man is drunk, right? You see his true colors. That's his apology to me. You've already said it, bro. You could have said it as an owner, because you know you're owning a multicultural club. As an owner, you should sit there. Somebody asking these questions. Listen, I cannot talk about my political views because I own Manchester United and we are a multiple cultured. Even if you think this, keep it in your head because you are the owner of a multicultural club, not just a club in Manchester. This club represents too many fans, and it's been represented too many fans for years, for donkey's years, 40 years, worldwide. Yeah. So what are you talking about?
Like, Man United, anyway, let me not go any further. Bro, thank you for calling in.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Have a great one.
Hope
Cheers,
to hear
man.
from you again, by the way.
Man. Cheers. Big up.
Man, it's crazy, you know. I really do feel funny when I hear. I don't know how to react. Do we demand for Sir Jim to step down now? The next caller, furthermore, I'm calling. We deserve better. You are next after wrap up. Yeah, I'm just doing it in order. Okay. Thank you. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. And Stretford Elite, you as well. Yeah, I see you. DNA. Right. You might need to change that Stretford DNA thing. What's going on? Wrap up. Welcome to the building, bro.
Go on. Jimmy boy's going broke.
Oh, and you say the club is
about this broke billionaire.
The club is finished. I see it.
Yeah, but I've had that for time. I haven't been on the internet for a little while, so I haven't removed that. But it's just it's very
it's narrative today, isn't it? It's fine.
Yeah, so I left it. Yeah, so. But the thing is, when I heard it, I didn't get mad. I said, I'm not surprised with this guy. This guy's a clown. This guy said he was going to buy Chelsea. Then he said, oh, yeah, I'm a Mancunian. This guy's a wallad, man. This guy's a clown. Yeah? And listen, I've been politically homeless for like the last 20 years because I think all of them are fuckers. They're all pricks to me. I think every political party.
I'm telling you, they're all fuckers. But reform,
They're all, to me, they go to the same places to drink. They sniff the same lines. You know where these people vacate at? They're all on the same team, the majority of them. So. Yeah, it is what it is. But what I will say as well is a lot of the top Reds agree with what this man is saying. They agree with what this man is saying. And this is why it goes back. And this is why I'll keep it a buck with you now. Why I always like to protect certain players of a certain skin complexion a bit more. Because I saw what happened to Pogba. I saw the treatment Pogba was getting. Anybody said shit.
Bro, you're not on Rance's channel. Say it with chest, bro. You people of color because they get treated differently. Simple.
Yeah, of course. They do. I saw what happened to Pogba, and he was getting the maddest treatment. Same thing happened to Jesse Lingard. Rashford at the beginning had the Manc tax until it wasn't there. He got the same treatment eventually, but he had the Manc tax. They accepted him for a little while because he was feeding kids. But we know how this goes. Pogba was the biggest victim of this bullshit, the top Reds bullshit. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say how it is. And Jim the Rat represents them very well. I'll say it straight up and down.
Could any sort of
Go on Instagram and see the top Reds backing him.
No, I've been on it. In order to make the content that I just gave you earlier, yeah, bro. What do you think I was on? I was on Insta. I was on everything. You think I ain't seen them? This is what I'm saying. This is sometimes I feel like what he's saying does resonate with the common man on the ground, though. The common English pub going lad. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Of course. But
I mean, they ain't feeling it sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. But for me, I said a lot of things that I've heard other people say. I said, if you really want to change with like just on a basic level, even with Man United, stop feeding the beast. But people can't do that. They're too attached. So they just keep and you give them the power. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. And don't be surprised if Mr. Jimmy Ratboy becomes Reform's donor, becomes one of their donors. Do not be surprised.
I said this because, bro, when I tell you I was on the internet for time last night, I was going to do the show yesterday, but then time got away from me because I was doing all of this preparation shit. When I tell you that he said that he's pledged that he's not going to give any money to any political party, probably because he's a broke billionaire, first of all, yeah?
Exactly.
He's not going to pledge no money to any political group, but he backs what Farage is saying. He thinks he's a smart guy, and he hopes he goes further. That was some of his quotes from before. Okay.
And
so
does he think that's smart? Does he really think that's smart? Does he think he's going to get funding now by the Labour government for your stadium and all that? Do you think you're really going to get funding? And all, you're finished, man. You need to sell your.
Do you think, as a Manchester United fan base, we should be calling for his exit now? Like, for real. Not no talking on the internet thing. Should we be calling for his head now? And no, not violently. I mean, should we be saying this man needs to leave our club? Because it's not his club, it's our club.
Yeah, but yeah, we do, but
why? But
it ain't like Riri said it. Too many people are too comfortable, man. Nothing's really gonna happen. Nothing's really, and a lot of the fan base agree with him, so nothing's gonna go on. The top Reds are loving what he's saying. They're loving it.
Connor does say that Labour can't refuse funding based on political opinions, though, which is probably right. But you know they'll find some loophole, Connor, to say fuck you.
You don't find a loophole, man. You know how these guys are. People need to realize as well.
You can't have it.
Businesses, corporations control politics, not the government. Corporations control politics, not the politicians.
And you don't think that Sir Jim wants to get in on the ground floor of this one? Because this is what you have to realize as well, that a lot of corporations do. They align themselves with the political figure that they think is going to be in power next. So
Exactly.
You know,
and that's what Jimmy Boy is doing.
Boy.
He's gonna back Farage. He's a snake oil salesman as well. But he's got his one point on the grooming gangs. That's it. He's got his little point on that, and he's riding it to the wave, to the grave. That's what he's doing. But man, It's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate we have Glazers and Ratcliffe, the two worst chairmen in world football.
I prefer the Glazers right now, bro. I prefer the Glazers. Like, at least they didn't open their mouth and say shit. Yeah. For how many years have we
No,
had the Glazers?
but the Glazers endorsed the Glazers and I bet they endorsed wars, man. They endorsed geopolitical wars.
Let's be honest.
Which forced the immigrants to go to their countries and to England. Wars they endorsed. And then they want to complain about it.
And wouldn't you call that a form of colonization?
Exactly. There you go. It goes full circle.
Hey, wrap up. I'm gonna try and make it quick. I'm gonna stick around though. Yeah, discussion at the end, real quick. Yeah. Thank you, bro. We deserve better.
Hey.
Waiting. Sorry for, and I was just trying to do it.
No, don't be silly. Don't be silly. It's your show, and no. It was good to hear everyone as well. Can you see this?
Perfect. We are all immigrants. You're damn right. You know what? Even the white, you know what, Connor, you're like probably the whitest person in here right now. Connor,
not with that picture is not. Not with that picture is not.
But Connor, quick question: anybody in your family from a different country?
I couldn't really say different country now because, like, would you class Ireland as being a different country? Because we're not really that far separated, are we?
It is if you speak to Nigel Farage.
Well, yeah. If you look at it on that front, but realistically, the closest you're going to get to my family being immigrants, you're going to have to go back about, I'd say, a rough 1,000, maybe even 2,000 years to when the Celts landed on the shores of Ireland.
Yeah, don't even have to go back that far.
You're gonna have to go back a few thousand.
I'm gonna send you one of them ancestry tests. Yeah.
Hey, if you pay for it, I'll do it.
We should do that. We should we should give every English person an ancestry test now. Yeah. See how. Yeah. Oh, you got a little bit of black in you? Get out. Yeah.
I had 1.1% British in me. I can't remember the night, but apparently, yeah.
I'm about to say,
went over your head.
I'm not going to say
it. I said it. I said I can't remember the night, but apparently.
I didn't hear that bit. That's funny. Okay, no. Okay, I won't say near you. Let's just go. All right. I'll tell you what. Yeah, quick question. First of all, I'm gonna ask everybody this question as they come in now. Actually, do you think we should be calling for Sir Jim's head? Should his head be rolling out of our club right now?
Yeah,
not violently, just get out.
He should have been thrown out as soon as he made those comments. He should be thrown. Look, if a player had done that, they'd be out. They'd be sanctioned. There'd be something going on. Where's the noise? And the thing is, right, I always complain about it. You've heard me, Joe. I don't like managers making noise. I don't like players making noise. I certainly don't like our owners making noise. He should not. And what he said was absolutely appalling. You know, there's a line. He's over there. He's way over there. So yeah, I want him gone. It leaves a sour face. I hear what Riri's saying. They make it really incredibly difficult for you to support your club. Do you think I'm as passionate about my club after hearing that nonsense?
I'm
more. I've always.
Sorry. Elite says, was it 1% or 1 inch?
We don't deal in inches. We deal in feet.
It's my fault for diluting it. I'm sorry. I should never even read that out. Continue, please. Sorry.
Only boys deal in inches, mate. Yeah. Thanks for telling us who you are.
I was not involved in that.
Yes, you were. You started it.
Yeah, it was straight for the league. It was straight for the league.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah. That sounds about right.
Sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, it makes it hard to kind of support your club. But you know what? I've always tried to protect black players. You've heard me over the years, because I kind of know black players get it in the teeth. They get it in the teeth. They get it. They've had to deal with racism through training. You can imagine how they've been singled out, right? We know what was going on in the 80s and 90s and the noughties, and I don't think it's changed so much, but it's got better. So they've had to deal with all that. And you know what happens if they miss a penalty, the amount of abuse they get. So I always put my arm around vulnerable groups. I've always put my arm around a vulnerable group because I kind of think, treat someone how you'd want to be treated. It's really simple, you know. So yeah, that arsehole, for what he said, and like we say, we've got Ahmed at our club who came through all of that difficult times to get here, then had to release what actually happened and his backstory. He's hearing that, colonized by immigrants, and then our captain is an immigrant. You know, if you look at all of our squad, all we'd be left with is Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, and Mount, pre-injury prone twats. Oh my God.
Do you know the funny thing is, yeah, it's the fact of what you said about Manchester as well. Yeah. This resonate with me because Connor sent me this. Yeah. When Connor sent me this, it's just like it goes to show you how much that Manchester United as well don't resonate with what he said. Do you know what I mean? So this is why I'm at impasse when it comes to supporting the club, because they're trying hell and high water to separate themselves from Sir Jim's words, when it's going to be hard, obviously, because he's our boss. So how do we separate ourselves from the boss? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I'll never say a nice word about him ever again. There were things that I was highlighting that they're getting right. I won't do that anymore. They're getting no favors from me. I ain't got time for it. You know, that whole kind of phase when someone shows you who they are, believe them. That apology, that was a load of shite. That was a kick in the gut. That was like, yeah, I've said it. If you can't deal with it, that's your problem. That's exactly what he said. I'm sorry that some people may have found it offensive. No, you're not. You know exactly what you were doing.
Anytime anybody says that, like, I'm sorry that, you know, basically that
you find it offensive. Yeah, I don't. I agree wholeheartedly with what I've said.
Not sorry for causing the offense, sorry for you taking the offense.
You know what, Joe?
It's very easy to say things like that. Do you know what I mean?
He met up with Nigel Farage before that, right? That came out in the interview.
October.
So I think this has been stage managed. I think this has been stage managed. It's really, you know, these are the billionaires, right? Want Farage in. The billionaires wanted Boris Johnson in. 400 billion missing during COVID. Anyone talking about it? Are the newspapers talking about it? Of course they're not. Why? Because they're owned by the billionaires. Contracts going for COVID to companies and people who have no experience in the field, missing contracts. People, Michelle Monet being made a baroness, 100 million given to her, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So
the thing as well during COVID when they, I think I can't remember which politician it was, gave his brother or cousin or somebody like that some sort of grant money in order for them to be a distributor of the COVID tests.
They were giving it to their wives. They were giving it to their wives who didn't have companies, right? And do you remember that 5,000 people from jail, suddenly their records suddenly disappeared? You can bet your bottom dollar about 4,999 of them were their men. You know, this is the stuff that was going on during COVID, right? So the media wanted Boris in. So they filled up loads of propaganda. The media wanted Brexit. They filled up loads of propaganda. Brexit happened. They got Boris in. They got their man in. Look how that turned out. Now the media want Nigel Farage in. And they've played the race card. They play the race card because the country is so bankrupt, there is no money. We can either tax the rich for their assets, or we can tax the poor. The poor are bankrupt now, as you know it. Most of them are having to be on benefits because of their own working benefits to kind of supplement the benefit, because the companies at the top who are making billions of pounds are paying them peanuts. But you know who they're coming after now? They're coming after the middle class. They're coming after the middle class. And I just hope the middle class are wise enough to see what's going on, because they could be the breaking point as to who goes in. The reason why they keep mentioning Labour all the time is because Labour have 403 MPs. So they've already got the Conservative vote. The Conservatives have got smashed in the last election, 116 MPs they've got. So they don't need the Conservatives. Most of the Conservatives, it doesn't matter. They're not going to get a majority with them. They need 325 MPs to get elected into government. So they're going off the Labour vote. Now, people keep thinking it's a given that he's going to get in. I think it's in the balance. But what they're trying to do is they saturated the media about immigrants. You cannot, I mean, I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news for about 3.5 years. I won't do it anymore. I won't do it to myself. So the only time we get to hear about this stuff is on YouTube. And even then, if an algorithm tries to show me something, I just say I'm not interested and try and move it on. So they've saturated the news with all of this stuff because, you know, this affects your mental health. You know, a lot of people probably wouldn't want to go out the door as people. You know, I keep hearing people are saying they're scared for their family, they're scared for themselves. You know, if I had to keep listening to all of that, you know, I would be saying to Mum, let's get out of here. This is not right. This is not where we want to live. This is not a safe place. We're not welcome. So I don't listen to the news, but I know they saturated it to make the people who pick up the Daily Mail, pick up these papers, pick up algorithms to keep believing that we have a massive problem with immigrants and they're sex offenders and they're this and they're that. You know what's very interesting about the sex thing? Baroness Casey done, I'm sorry if I'm jumping from thing to thing.
It's okay, I do the same.
Baroness Casey did a thing about an inquiry about the grooming people, and she said there must be a problem with these South Asians. It must be part of their culture. Okay, if you're going to go down that road, can we have an inquiry into the Catholic priests that were sexually abusing children all over the world, who were actually majority white? And let's exactly, and let's talk about their culture. Let's talk about their culture, because if you want to do it for one, do it for everyone, you know. So that's some nonsense that we have to deal with. What they're trying to do is dehumanize us. They're trying to dehumanize us. We're the out group now. It's going on in the Middle East. It's going on over the world. Brown people dying is acceptable. So now to dehumanize in this country, and the whole game is to get Nigel Farage in, because Nigel Farage is sponsored by billionaires. Do you know what part of me thinks? Give them Nigel Farage. Let this country have Nigel Farage, right? Give them what they want, and then we'll see. They'll be crying about it, just the way they're crying about it now about Brexit, just the way they were crying about Boris Johnson. They gave him the biggest majority ever, and by the next election, they've got Labour in. The same people. So give them Nigel Farage for ideas, right? Because he will come for them. He's coming for the poor. He's coming for the poor. So let them have it. I don't care. I'm 53. I've seen all of this. I've seen it all my lifetime. It doesn't scare me, this kind of politics. I laugh at it because they look at people and they think we're stupid. Common people are stupid. And that's how they look at them. They look at them with contempt. That whole thing that Jim the Rat did, I never call him sir. Please don't call anyone sir. That goes back to the Knights Templar. Don't call people sir. That's disgusting. People are here. They're not up here or down there. They're here. We're just humans, right? That Jim the Rats, he knew exactly what he was doing. That was stage managed. Don't be surprised if more people do it, because the more big profile people do it, they're now trying to infest football with it. You want to get to the common person. Another driver is through football. It's through media. It's through the TV. It's through radio. It's through the gossip on the street. It's through algorithms. It's everywhere. So this is another way. And there'll be other people doing it. And it's been done time and time again. I just hope that decent people go and vote. Now, I've heard a lot of people saying, I don't know who to vote for. Don't be stupid, guys and girls. Go out there and vote. Go out for, even if it's the least worst party, go out and vote.
Oh, vote for this guy. Vote for this guy. Vote for this guy.
Brexit happened was because the place that they moved it to had excellent supply chains and access to their target markets. And once you start talking about supply chains and access to target markets, you were talking about how easy it is to trade between different countries. So on the year that Brexit created trade barriers between the UK and the rest of Europe, Ineos moved their factory to the other side of those trade barriers into France and Germany. And the reason they gave was that trade would be easier there. So anybody who is acting in good faith can see and read between the lines that means it was a Brexit decision. Jim Ratcliffe campaigned for Brexit, and then when he realized that Brexit would make his business impossible in the UK, he moved his business abroad, costing the UK hundreds of jobs. These are simply bad people. Thank you, Nigel, for entertaining me tonight. Because what we had to...
He's the Green Party.
Is he?
I know,
okay.
I've never voted for the Green Party in my life, but I swear to God, I'm voting for the Green Party this year. Yeah? I'm advocating to vote for I don't want to vote for Labour again. I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna give the Green Party a try. 100%. Vote Green. Vote for Femi.
I mean, I get that. You know, that for me, I have to vote for the party that's going to keep reform out, right? And as much as I love the ethos of what Greens say, and as much as I'm really angry with where Labour have gone, I can't understand why Labour have had to go down that route for a bit, because there's no money anywhere. So they've had to go and try. Right, but you know, that's not the Labour Party I grew up with. I was disgusted about what they've done, but they've been put in that position, right? The thing that really angers me is they could have put a wealth tax on the rich, and they were too scared not to. And that's where they've gone wrong, right? But I have to look at the party that's going to challenge reform in seats, and it's going to be Labour. So if I don't vote for Labour, that's one less vote for them to challenge them. So that's, I've got just for me, it's tactical voting. I'm not happy with Labour. I love the way Green are coming forward. I even like some of the stuff that Lib Dems have done, but Lib Dems have had their problems. They promised to kind of slash university for kids, and then got in bed with the Conservatives. They are, but you know what they want us to do is think that it's not worth voting for anyone, because that way their man gets in. They always want to disenfranchise us. Do you know how hard people fought to give you the vote? Do you know how many people died to give us a chance to vote? Every single one of us can make a difference. All I know, do you want reforming? I don't. So I have to look at what party's going to keep them out. That's the way I've got to vote. But that's a political thing, and everyone's entitled to his freedom to vote for whoever your heart desires. The other thing I kind of wanted to say about all of this nonsense was I was looking at the consensus here, and we're talking about relative growth. You know, he got his figures wrong anyway. He said 12 million. It was more like 2 million. Even Gary Lineker got it wrong. He said in 2024 it's 70 million. We haven't even reached 70 million. In 2026, currently is estimated at 69.8. The ONS said in mid 2025, which is the official figures, it was 69.6. So we're not even at 70 million. So it's just an increase of 2 million. But if you look at relative growth, right? Relative growth is like in terms of the size of the population. In this country, relative growth in 24 to 25 was less than 1.1%, right? And you heard Nigel Farage talking about Europe and how you know we've got so much more than Europe. Shall I tell you what the relative growth was on the top 5 countries? Because if our population increases so high, it's got to be less than 1.1%. Well, Malta had a 19% increase. Ireland had a 16.3% increase in 1 year. In Luxembourg, a 14.7% increase. Iceland, a 4.32% increase. Us, less than 1.1%. This is all scaremongering. This is all whipping up anti-immigrant resentment.
Numbers wrong as well, then, because Simon Jordan was saying how that it was an increase of 2%, and how that's basically too much on the size of country that we are compared to the rest of Europe. And now you're the rest of Europe who's got like 14 and 12% and stuff like that, and we only have 1%.
1%, and that's been the highest it's been was in 22-23, which was 1.3%. In 2020, it was 0.036%. So this is all nonsense, right? You can believe it if you want. Net migration, by the way, in this country for EU nationals is down by minus 70,000. It's down. It's not even plus. It's minus 70,000. There's so much nonsense, and you saw it. Nigel Farage, Jim the Rat says the lie. Nigel Farage copies the lie, you know, and then he gets pulled up on it. So it's don't believe what they say. The way I work, Jim, the way I work, Joe, is I just work around my community. I do the work within my community, and I make sure my community where I live is strong, and that's how I work. All this other noise, I don't pay attention to it, because if we actually lived in this lie, we wouldn't get up in the morning. We wouldn't help our neighbor. We wouldn't feel good about living in this country. So it's kind of like just get involved in community. Don't listen to this BS, because that's all it is. And these plonks, they will come and go. I've had the National Front in the 70s. I've had the BNP in the 90s. Right? We've had Reform and
It's
They
all the
come
same,
with
just renaming itself. It's all the same thing, just renaming.
exactly. It's nonsense, and it's decent people. And this is look, let's not forget this. My late partner was white, right? All the white people I know are decent, good, loving, God-fearing people who have no time for racism, have no time for inequality, can see the nonsense that's been peddling out there and challenge it. They're allies. They are proper allies, right? They don't tell me what I need to do. They say, what can we do to help you? How can we support you? They're the people that I hang around with. So all these other imbeciles, all these other morons, including Jim and Nigel and the rest of them, even Baroness Casey, and Keir Starmer needs to have a good word with himself. He really does. All of these people, right, can just do one, because I'm not going to give him headspace. I'm not going to give him headspace, mate. You are a decent bloke. Most of the people in this chat are a decent bloke. Stratford needs to have a word with himself, right? But most of the people are decent people. And that's my community. That's all I need to stick with. Let them get on with it, Joe. Let them have Nigel Farage. They'll live to regret it. Let them have it. Sometimes that's the only way people learn.
Oh, do you know what? Bring up yourself, readers. But I agree with that. Do you know what? But at the same time, yeah, nah, because you give him Nigel Farage, and guess what? He helps ruin our community. Do you know what I mean? We'll have, America's got ice, we'll have fire. Yeah, we're gonna have something called fire where they come, Farage's fire to come and just like, one more time.
Just quickly on that. So what we have in place in this country, and I've looked at this because I had that fear. It's happened in America. It could happen here. The way our legislature is built up, there are 1,000 more checks and balances than there are in America. Right? America is built on principles, right? But there are ways to navigate that. The person at the top has far more power than they do in this country. So all of this talk, look at how many immigrants flew on that plane, all that nonsense, right? It doesn't happen. So all this fear about, people who have a leave to remain stamp on their passport, what could happen to them? Don't give it stuff in your head. They would never get away with it in this country. And I'm not saying that like, oh, it will never happen and then it happens. There are too many checks and balances. The whole reason Nigel Farage is whipping up the race card is so that he can drain the money out of the poor and give it to the rich. That's the only end goal here. And while he's doing that, he wants you focused over here. That's all that's going on. It's happening to a degree in America, but they don't have the checks and balances that we have in the UK. And that's why it's got to the extreme. They would never get away with doing that in this country. They would never get away with banning people from certain countries. And I know you're looking at me like that. You and me can meet up in 5 years' time or 7 years' time, and I will give you £10,000 if it happens. It's never going to happen. So don't get caught.
Power, yeah. If he gets into power, it's like you said, bro. I know there's lots of stops in the way. There's lots of checks in the way, but do you know what? I just think he'll find a way. I'm sorry, reader, but I just feel like when there's a will, there's a way. And you know, when it's the people, if the people do vote him in, he might do another bill and do another vote and say, do you guys back this? Do you back this of me doing it? You know, like you said, there's checks to go through. One of those checks is doing a vote. If he votes for the people, you know, like when we did Brexit, if he votes and says, hey, do you people want ice or do you want fire? Let's do the vote. And if the vote goes the way he wants, then he could probably do it. Things like this, I know.
It's time!
I don't even know why that played. I wasn't even on that page. But anyway, let me put that down. Do you know what? Yeah. It's a scary time. Let me bring in Stretford Elite, please. Oh, sorry, Stretford DNA.
Yeah, I need to change my name from Stretford Elite because I don't want to be associated with those kind of elitists. You know what I mean? This is the problem.
DNA.
Yeah. You said I have to
else.
change DNA. It needs to be changed from elite, bro. Guys like Jim, I can't even say sir.
Yeah, but you don't want that bigotry in your DNA either, bro.
No. This is what I mean. Like there needs to be some kind of cleansing of the of the cells. I don't know, bro. The chromosomes ain't chromosoming, but
bro, it really don't matter what you call yourself. To be fair, if Sir Jim takes a good look at you, you're an immigrant.
Immigrant, bro. This is what I'm saying. The colonization stuff is wrong. It's so bad. Like I heard people try and justify it, like he meant illegal immigrants, and I still think he's a bit out of touch.
Apparently, he meant people that are on benefits. Apparently, that's the wording that's what Nigel Farage is going with. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And what's his name? The other one. What's that dickhead's name again? I keep forgetting his name.
Jordan.
Him and Simon Jordan have both said that, oh, you know, he shouldn't have used the word colonization or colonized, but he's making the fair point of, you know, we're basically being overrun by immigrants in this country. And he's not talking about those illegal immigrants, he's talking about those ones sitting on benefits.
Code switching is like is so redundant here. Like, you're trying to switch the narrative based off how the public reacts. Like, you had the opportunity to say it. You knew fully well what you were saying in the moment, but he said immigrants. He didn't say illegal. He just said immigrants. So that encapsulates legal immigrants, descendants of immigrants, all kinds of people.
Colonized means that we're coming here to take over. So it could be the legal ones or the illegal ones. You're right.
And the hypocrisy is the fact this so-called, I don't know, like elitist, he lives in Monaco. So he's an immigrant himself, because they call him tax immigrant, whatever, economic immigrant, whatever the fact. He wasn't born in Monaco.
Pay tax in this country. So I don't even understand how you get to even like make comments on the economy when you're not contributing to the economy.
He's not even taxed. He's not even paying his taxes here. So yeah, so how can you complain about the benefits? And this is the other thing that I don't like, because the whole benefits argument, I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, I don't, because the benefit stuff, there's in society with economic growth, there's always going to be poor people in every society you find. And you find even the more the economy grows, the more the socio-economic divide is, potentially the more there is poverty. Like you see in India, like the growth there is incredible, but at the same time, they have some of the poorest people in the world. So he's saying, like, what he said, something silly like there's 9 million people in benefit, but there's always going to be people who are on poverty. So what do you want to do? Just leave them homeless on the road without money to support themselves and support their families and have a house over their heads? You know, this is the kind of out of touch.
He wants the English to have he only wants the purebred English to have those benefit rights.
And that's why I know he's wrong. And this is what the elitist mentality is, like the right-wing mentality, where you want to keep your money in your pockets, you know, have all the control over the government, have all the control over society with the wealth and the influence you have. But you won't bat an eyelid if you see a homeless man or a person, a refugee who's fleeing a war-torn country, or you know, a man who can't feed his kids at night. You don't bat an eyelid at that. That doesn't affect you. And I think that is the problem with the elite in society and society as a whole, because we'll have people, I don't even think, how do you even have £1 billion, like over £1 billion, and there's people like in the whole of UK that don't even have half of what you earn. Like 60 million people don't have even half, maybe even a tenth of what you have. Like, for me, that's kind of crazy in itself. How can one man hold that much wealth to where other people can't? You know what I mean? Like,
well, he's probably at the brokest part of the billionaire circle, to be fair. Like,
allegedly. Yeah, but I know, but someone explained to me how these like billionaires work, because they have all these stocks and a control in all these like bonds in these companies, and they don't even spend their own money. They spend the bank's money that they've lended so that they can get the cash flow. And yeah, they're in bed with the banks.
You know, they borrow against assets in order to, you know, if you have a business, that's an asset. And if you've got $1 billion business, this is why these people never go broke. They don't, like you said, they don't actually spend their own money. Do you get me? It's the way the rich live, bro. Look, he got a grant from the government recently, so
free money.
Government say, can I, hey,
free money, and the banks utilize them so that when they want to get more money into the market, we'll give you some more cash, we'll give you some money for free. And when they want to get the money out of the market, here's I don't know, a house or some stocks in this company that is going to increase like 100% guaranteed. But since you've got the money, buy it. It's on us. We'll give you the discounted house price. So they've just got total dictatorship. He's basically a dictator in this economy, and he's here talking about all this like immigrants out, like no, we've been colonized. He's just out of touch and not with reality. And the other thing with like the reform stuff, and that's another problem in itself, because like there's such racial undertones in a lot of their messaging. Obviously Nigel Farage is a racist. Jim the Rat is quite clearly, you won't admit it, but some of the things he's saying. And in our society, there's a lot of right wing, maybe even the top reds, who are so like pro England and so against immigration, mainly illegal immigrants. But for that sense, that's just going to collapse society, like already in like the corporate world, or even just in some job settings. You can sense the undertones with like the pro English person. You already know it's there. You already can see, like when you walk into some of these
about the workplaces I've worked in, bro. I worked in a workplace one time, in Soho, right? I walked in and I felt like I knew I was the token hire. Yeah. That was an equality and diversity recruitment strategy if I ever saw. When I walked in, I was the only black guy, and there was one black girl. So I think they had their bases covered. That was it. The whole office was white.
Yeah, I know. The DEI, bro. You got the Ugandan flag. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I know. You can see the corporate settings. If someone knows someone, there's all this nepotism, nepo babies. Oh yeah, you've got dad in the company, your aunt, your cousin. Everyone just knows someone. But like when you're from like
jobs for the lads, innit? Jobs for the guys.
Yeah, lads, all part of the family. It's a family business, they say, innit? So when you're ethnic minority, you've got to already like climb or swim against the tide, because you already know the odds are stacked against your favor. And just imagine what will happen with reform, get into power. Like that's gonna be on steroids. It's gonna be amplified to the max. That whole like family. If you're not white, then what are you doing here? What do you contribute to society? That's the new thing they're saying. Oh yeah, you've not contributed to society. You're just taken from society, bro. Like that's the new mantra and agenda they're putting out.
Will the rhetoric be the same though for the white people who are sitting on their asses not doing nothing though? This is what I want to know. If you're sitting on your ass and not doing nothing, will you be pulled up to say, hey, guess what? You got to do something now. Yeah? That's all I want to hear. I don't want to hear if it's an immigrant thing. They should just be speaking to everybody that are sat on benefits, that are not doing nothing. Yeah. Call them to arms. Even if they said, look, there's menial jobs, and if you don't take them, then your benefits are stopping. Things like that. That's how I feel.
You already know the undertone. It's gonna be if you're a person of color, what do you contribute to society? If you're white, you're born here, you get to reap the benefits of what your forefathers have built. And the funniest thing is, if you even
where's your family from?
Ugandan.
So how long's your family been here?
Like 30 years, maybe 25 years. The 90s.
In those 30 years, your family has contributed to society, correct?
Yeah.
They've benefited from our tax dollars, correct?
Yeah.
Bro, my family, Jamaican, Windrush, all that kind of stuff. You want to talk about, you ask people to come here to help you, to build culture. Do you know, the funny thing is, you ask for people to come, and then when we've helped and build up the place, help build back the place to where it's supposed to be, then you want to say, oh no, it's just for us now. You get out, we change up the rules. Don't worry, we don't like it no more. Well, then I just find it very crazy that that's the world that we're still living in now towards this day. And I'm not saying this is every white person, because like We Deserve Better said in it, there's so many white people that I know that are decent, God-fearing, stand-up people, and they don't even have to be God-fearing. But do you know what? Just be a decent person with a steady head on their shoulders. Anybody can tell you that half of the things that these people are coming out with is so blatantly obvious that what they're trying to do, I don't understand why they keep doing it. And I do know why they keep doing it, yeah, because simple people, the idiots, the bigots, the ones that like argument, the one that don't understand other people's differences, these are the ones that always bite. They always get caught on that hook, yeah, and they get wound up. And they get calls to arms, and they're the ones who are out on the street chatting shit, misquoting themselves and requoting idiots that get shit wrong. And they will stand there, talk to you with full chest, say, "No, but I heard this somewhere." I said, "Where'd you hear it from? Where'd you hear it from? Where's the fact behind it?" And they got nothing to say because they just keep on repeating what they're hearing in their own little echo chambers, and that's the problem.
Yeah. It's the elitist mentality. Right? I've spoken enough. Bring the family in, and then
no problem. All right, no problem. You know what? Here we go. Riri came back because I think she wants to join the chat. We Deserve Better is still here. Wrap Up is still here, and I know Connor has been really itching to say something in the background. Connor, do you wanna?
I just had something I wanted to say with in regards to a couple of things We Deserve Better said. It was towards the end when you were saying about like the checks in place right now to prevent people from being like removed from the country.
Yeah.
Nigel Farage's plan is to remove us from the ECHR, and it only takes 6 months. Within his first 6 months of notified to leave the ECHR, once he puts that notice in, the checks and balances that we have, whilst there still will be something here, it will be a lot less because the ECHR, I think I'm saying it right. The European Court on Human Rights prevents us from kicking people out a lot more than our own laws do because of how tied up we were in European laws before Brexit happened.
So I've heard this a lot about even the Conservatives were spouting. They had enough time to do it. Why didn't they do it? Because it would jeopardise the Good Friday Agreement. The Good Friday Agreement is what's keeping Ireland together. They would never do it. They would never do it. They will flaunt with it. They will flaunt with the idea. He just wants to get into power. The Conservatives said, how long did Conservatives spin the idea about bringing net migration and doing this, doing that, taking people? They put the narrative out there long enough until they're in power, and then they're out. And while all that smoke and mirrors is going on, they're draining the economy. They're draining your money. They're making you poorer. They're making the rich richer. They're not interested in any of that. They're just interested in keeping themselves rich. That's all it's about. It's always been about how many assets can we take from these people. And they need a stick to divide us by. They can't have us together. So divide and conquer politics. The easiest one is class. If it's not class, it's race. If it's not race, it's sexuality. And it goes on. And then it's gender. And it keeps going on. And people who buy into it. So that's why they would never do it. The Good Friday Agreement is too volatile. If you get rid of that, it would never happen, Connor.
I'm not 100% sure it will happen. I'm not saying that it will. I'm not saying it will happen 100%, but I'm not saying it won't happen either way. But it was just another point of what you said. What wealth tax were you talking about? Because it was just I saw an interesting thing the other day about like there's a careful balance in this country about the rich.
Yeah.
And what I saw the other day was Stephen Bartlett. I thought to say his name. I can't pronounce his last name. I'm shit.
Yeah, Bartlett.
Yeah. So basically, the owner the CEO of Revolut has moved his tax status to the UAE to not pay tax, and the amount that we're losing out on in this country now is £3 billion from like tax. And he worked out the math of how much like that would be affected. It'll cost. So it is basically to make up what he's now left the UK with in tax is around the population of one small UK city, so around 425,000 people has now left the UK. So I feel like the country, the state that we're in with the tax system here, is we're in such a delicate balance for tax, and it's so difficult for us to have the argument for taxing the rich, but then also try and tax them and they'll leave. So I feel like we have to keep the balance of keeping them happy here, and then also try and taxing them legitimately.
So the wealth tax is about taxing assets, right?
Yeah.
It's about taxing assets because it's not about taxing them on income, because because after 50% you don't get taxed. So when you're earning tens of millions of pounds, and we're not talking about people who are earning £1 million, we're talking about the 1% at the top, the 1%, the billionaires, the multi-billionaires, taxing them on their assets. And if you just tax them on their assets by 1%, they wouldn't even notice it. They would not even notice it, right? But the difference that would make to the country, and that's what the Labour had an option to do, and they bottled it.
Well, Labour have bottled everything since they've gotten the power. They've been,
but they will all bottle it. But it's sad that Labour have done it, but all the rest will bottle it because they're in the hands of the rich anyway.
But we deserve better. So the stocks, or what they're getting taxed on, isn't the argument that they could lose money as well? How can you take tax on an asset when it could drop in price? This is money that they haven't seen. This is just like imaginary money. That's these that's the commentary that's going on now.
If you know the rich, right, they borrow on everything. They don't pay a penny of their own money anyway.
Well, yeah, but that's because of how that's because of how it's made up, though. Because like Elon Musk right now, his Tesla stock is worth whatever it's worth. Yeah. Now he doesn't have his stock liquid, so he goes to a bank and says, "Well, I have this. These assets are worth this amount of money," and the bank will then look at them assets and say, "Okay, yeah, that is worth this amount of money. So we'll give you a credit balance." That's how the stocks work. So you can't really tax someone on money that they don't have their tax. You can only tax because they've got credit. They've not got money. They've got credit with a bank.
Yeah, but you sell some shares if you need to make that shortfall. I'm not going to justify those people up there with the billions of pounds when you've got people who can't afford to heat. They have to choose between eating and heating, or sending their child to school. I'm not worried about the people at the top. I'm worried about the people at the bottom who can't make ends meet just to get through the day. Can't even get food on their table. Why are we looking at those up there? I don't give a damn about how many billions they've got. Tax them, tax their assets. They come in and they buy all the properties, they buy all the houses, they make it unaffordable for the common man to buy their own homes now because they've bought them all and then leave them empty for 20 years until the prices go up and then they sell them. It's not sustainable. You bankrupt the country that way. And they live in, like people like Jim. He lives in another country. They pay tax in this country for 5 years. They, non-doms, that status. They can be in the country for just 6 months, and they live elsewhere where they don't have to pay tax. I don't give a damn about these rascals. All this threat about they're going to go, they're not going to go. If they don't want to go, what's Jim doing here? It's all nonsense. Don't believe the hype that the papers keep feeding you because they don't want you to do a wealth tax. They don't believe the nonsense. That's why I don't listen to this stuff. I don't listen to any of it. Steve Bartlett wants to be a billionaire. I mean, come off it. They're all in it to make money and they want to protect their money, right?
Nah, there's no ethical billionaires, man.
The balance can't be there if it's at the cost of the poor man going hungry. It can't be right that child poverty has gone through the roof. That's what I'm concerned about. I don't give a damn about these multi-billionaires. I really don't. It's about time they pay their fair share. And it's not even a fair share, it's 1%, whilst we get taxed at 50%.
And they've got these politicians by the balls. Do you see the way Sir Jim has got Nigel Farage and what's his name? Keir Starmer. He's like patting them both on the head. He's like, oh, whichever one of you who can get my United redevelopment project through, oh yes, I'll give you the backing in the next by-election. Like, it's absolute bullshit. The way he's trying to manipulate in the media. Probably he's gonna promise them that if you get through, then you can help my project, and that's gonna help you win the elections for the next decade or something rubbish.
So it's exactly what Ratcliffe said. Ratcliffe made a very valid point when he was speaking. No government runs a country. It's the big corporations that run countries. It doesn't matter if you're left or right, you're up or down. It's two wings of the same bird. One just flaps different than the other. But it's the same thing. Big corporations and the people with the money is who run the country. Their need is what funds the politicians. The politicians cannot run a campaign without PAC money. I mean, we call it PAC money over here. I don't know what the British call it. But in order to run a campaign, donor money. In order to run a campaign, you need donor money. And if you're going to run a successful campaign that touches all places in England, you're going to need a lot of donor money. Guess who that money is coming from? So when they put their money in behind you, guess what you have to do?
Yeah.
That is how it works. That's how it's always worked.
Firefighting. He's firefighting for Sir Jim. You saw the clip, innit?
Absolutely. But here's the thing. No. Sir Jim has officially not put any money behind any of these political groups just yet, by the way. So far. Officially, anyway. Just
But
saying.
it's obvious which way he's leaning, though. It's obvious which way he wants it to go.
Welcome to the show, Antonio. What did you want to say?
Nah, I was gonna say like I came in late, but I heard what most people had to say. It's like the direct playbook that Trump used here, because I'm not from like the UK, but I can use an example what happened here, where like they blame a specific demographic of people, like let's say like oh our problem is because there's too many immigrants coming into this country, where like the numbers show that it's not, but they want to like fear, like it's a fear tactic they use to make us like regular people fight against each other so they can like do what they want at the top. Like these politicians don't care about us. The billionaires, they don't care about us. All they care about is making money, having people fight, so they don't really focus on what's really going on and how to fix it. Because most of these issues, like we have as a countries, like here in the UK, like it's fixable, but they don't want to do it because they care about making money. Like if you affect the way they make money, that's all they care about. Let's be honest here. So like, it's sad, but like it's also a dangerous game they're playing because the worst example is what happened in Germany. Like when they went through the whole crisis there, they blamed a special like demographic of people. This is why our country is going this way. So let's take it out on them. It's really I don't like what Sir Jim is doing because it's a dangerous game. It can go really right, it can go really badly, but like they don't really care. All they care about is money. For example, here like United States, the people that made the most money during the last couple of years where Trump was like president are the billionaires. If you look at the numbers, and our country is going to shit.
Yeah,
like,
but Tonio, that's to my point.
yeah, that's what I'm
live there,
saying. You guys are
so
correct.
you
Yeah, you guys
already
are
know what
100%
it
right.
is. Those are the people that put their money behind that campaign. Those are the
Correct.
people who are invested in that campaign. You think they invested it because they like him? No, they
No,
invested it based on what they will get out of it.
Correct.
Politicians are ruled by the one percenters. That's who run these countries. The one percenters are the ones that run these countries.
And I don't want to get too political, but like for Trump, an example, like the people that gave him the most money, I'm not sure if you guys watch the NBA, but like the Dallas Mavericks owners, they're from Israel. They put so much money into Trump, and you can see like how it's affecting his decisions nowadays. I don't want to get too deep into it, but like you can just see like how the
You
politics
know
goes
we
by.
control it. The Zionists and all the people, the elitists, they control society, they control, you know, the media, they control everything. What can us fans, when we've got a dickhead billionaire who's chatting shit about racism and all this immigration policies, what can we do?
You're not going to like my answer because you're not ready for my answer.
I want to know. I'm open to hear.
You're open to hear, but are you going to do it?
I didn't say that, but let's hear it.
Exactly.
I can't commit to something I've not heard.
All that.
Yeah, most of the solutions are radical. It has to be like a radical.
Didn't I say it? I said it when I don't know if you joined late, Stratford, but I said it.
Stop supporting the club.
That is what it's going to have to take in order to eradicate what you need eradicated. You're gonna have to be uncomfortable to do the right thing.
Because
the problem we have is that United would have looked at that risk or that, even with all the decisions they make, and they know they have such a global fan base that it would mean every single one would need to boycott. It's the whole kind of thing with the season tickets. Every single person could give up their season tickets, and there'd be a new lot coming in. Doesn't mean, really, let me finish. Doesn't mean that you don't do it. Doesn't mean that you don't do it. But I'm just saying that that's the problem we have, is that they know they can get away with this.
But that comes back to what I was saying. We deserve better. It's because we as a society, or we as the minority, we are not ready to be uncomfortable, because what his statement was directed to those same huge fan base you're talking about. Because India alone, the amount of united fans that India has alone, that's a definite Indian immigrant population. The Philippines, that's another immigrant population. Africa, that's another. But those immigrant populations would have to understand what it is he is saying to them. He is basically saying to them, I don't like you, but I'll take your money. If I see you on the street, I might spit on you, but I will take your money.
When
Sir Jim Ratcliffe walking down the street, he's driving his
hold on,
private car all day.
Hold on. I've been trying to bring up this point for ages. 1 second, yeah. Tommy in the chat, yeah. I don't know who he was speaking to, but I need to ask the panel this. He says, you're missing the point. Without the billionaires, the poor would be poorer. Our economy collapses. If the rich leave the UK, that's a no-brainer. Basic economic studies will teach you this day one. Sorry, not tell you, teach you this day one.
I get what he's saying, but that's incorrect though. There could be a limit on how much money you can make. Like you don't need as much like billions.
Can you repeat the comment again, Joe? Sorry.
Bankrupt this country.
I'm just going to repeat it one more time from the top. Okay, you're missing the point. Without the billionaires, the poor would be poorer. Our economy collapses if the rich leave the UK. It's a no-brainer. Basic economic studies will teach you this in day one.
What are the billionaires contributing to the country? They're not paying any taxes. So what are they contributing?
The billionaires are paying taxes in the country. Like we can say that billionaires aren't paying taxes, but what the billionaires do contribute will still affect the economy. If every single billionaire in the UK, if every single billionaire in the UK suddenly stopped paying tax, the British economy would collapse. We can't deny that. That is a fact.
A lot of them don't pay tax. A lot of them are non-doms.
Companies like will operate in this country, make money from this country, and then don't pay tax in this country. Does that make any fucking sense?
The money that you say that they're not making in tax, they still contribute to the economy. The money that they pay their employees goes back to the country. The money they make that they pay their employees.
Yeah, that's corporations.
Yeah, you're talking about corporation itself, like the billionaire itself. That's
Right. So
conversation.
yeah. So the country right. So say Sir Jim Ratcliffe, he makes stuff in France, but like that. I can't get my words out here. The corporations and the companies he has in the UK, the employees he has in the UK, the businesses that they all have in the UK, not just talk about Jim Ratcliffe in this scenario, all the billionaires, millionaires, whatever in general, everything they have in the UK, they still pay tax on in this country. Sure, he's in a different country, so he doesn't have to pay tax. But if they suddenly took all their business out of the UK, they took all their companies to different countries, the amount of money that they'd be paying in tax would go down to zero.
Their businesses are already outside of the country.
So
their products might be in the country, but their businesses, their factories are not in the country.
And Brexit,
the companies that they do have in the UK, you take them out of the UK.
What companies? So Connor, I know you're trying to make a point, but give me an example, please. What companies are you talking about that is benefiting the people of the UK that they have in the country?
2 seconds.
And just on that, right? Do you think it's fair that they pay corporation tax at 21%, and people who earn, say, 140,000 pay tax at 50%? Do you think that's fair? And do you think it's fair that they have profits near on high profits every single year, and yet the wage increases have been at a stagnant for 15 years, and people can't afford to eat? Do you think that's right? Do you think that's benefit? Because I don't see any benefit in that.
Yeah, it's no benefit. That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't really need billionaires. We're like, the companies, I get, we need their companies, but like, we don't need people to become that rich. There's ways to go around it. Like, let's say for Apple right now, like whoever the CEO is makes like, let's say he has $1 billion, He doesn't need to make that much. We need the company because it brings like profit to countries and stuff like that. People need the jobs. But like I'm talking about the specific, just the person. One single person doesn't need that much money. Like for Elon Musk, for example, his network shouldn't be that much. There's ways he can give back to people. There's ways he can give back to countries, but like, he doesn't want to do it because they hoard money. That's my issues with billionaires. They hoard money. They don't want to give it away to other people. They want to get richer and richer and richer. But at one point, like, what are you gonna do with all that money? There's more ways you can affect the country and people's lives with that money that you're hoarding for no reason.
You know what it is? These billionaires, they don't even they don't even have money to their name. Some of them are so smart. They basically incorporate themselves. Like me, you, we get paid from our companies, yeah, and then the money goes into our bank. Guys, it's a gym. They might even have £0 in their bank. They don't even class themselves as a person. He's probably got like some offshore account in Dubai that's linked to a limited company in China that's somehow got his address linked to his name. He's got no money to his name. He's
all
got
in assets.
a limited company. This is
Do you know,
what I'm saying.
do you know Google? They were paying 2% tax for about 5 or 6 years. 2% tax.
Yeah, it's the corporation tax loophole. They're all tax evaders, whatever you want to call it, tax avoiders. That's what they are. So that's the thing when you say like, oh yeah, like corporations have low tax. They should have low tax because we want to keep the corporations here. But for the billionaires, we want to tax them high because we know they're the people with the money. But they found so many loopholes. They're like Chelsea with the selling the hotels and the women's team. They've exposed all the loopholes to the point where we're just so bamboozled by it. We're like chasing the tail.
Here's a loophole our lovely Conservative government did. So when you buy one property, you've got to pay tax on it, right? You've got to pay stamp duty. You know what loophole they put? They put a loophole of if you buy 7 properties, you don't pay any. So guess how many Conservative MPs bought 7 properties? And that's the kind of nonsense that goes on. That's the kind of nonsense that goes on. So I can't hear it. I can't hear it. The common man does the right thing, pays his taxes, gets stung. The people at the top get away with murder.
Well, taxes is a wealthy man's way of getting you guys to pay for everything that needs to be done in a country.
Yeah.
And not them. That's what taxes is. We should not be paying taxes as a people. That's not something we should be doing.
Exactly.
Nobody should be.
The NHS, the National Health Service wasn't made. The National Health Service wasn't made for us. The National Health Service was made for the rich because it's free access for all.
But you know what? Wait, Connor, you were saying like the stuff like I think you were trying to say that the billionaires pay the tax. It's actually the middle class. Funny
it
enough,
is.
you'd be surprised. The middle class.
Do you want me to find a tax breakdown based on salary in the UK of?
Wait, can I give you guys a perfect example real quick? For here, like United States, when Trump was running for president, like he didn't want his taxes to be like shown, because like in 2016 he paid $750, 2017 he paid $750, in 2020 he paid $0. So they go like I don't know how it is in the UK, but they go around taxes. He finally paid.
Connor, I'm going to ask you a question. Right, I know you like to debate, but I'm intrigued. Right, do you think you're being taxed fairly? Do you think if you start earning more money, you're going to be tax fairly? And why are you? I don't understand your balance in trying to protect the mega wealthy.
Right. So my balance on this is if we don't balance it, the economy will collapse. If you don't have a fine balance to this situation, the economy will collapse. In the UK, wage growth, it's totally stagnated. It's totally not moving. It's stupidly not moving. The fact that the UK's wage growth compared to the likes of America is beyond a joke. When you look at a job in the UK that's going to pay you around £70,000, £70,000 to £100,000 in the UK, in America, it's nearly double that. It's nearly triple. It's like $200,000. When you look at the wage growth, it's more likable to go live in America, pay tax in America, pay your wealth in America, and like contribute to their country than it is in the UK currently. And it's not fair that that's the current state of the UK. However, it's not reliable for everyone in the UK just to up and leave. It's not fair that everyone should just up and leave.
Okay,
wages in the UK should grow.
Can I ask you a question on that? Who drove down those wages? Our billionaires and their corporations, they drove down the
No,
wages.
it's the politicians.
No,
that drove down
no. They said we ain't paying them anymore, and that's why what the government then did was got our taxes to bridge that gap that they weren't paying.
If the UK government,
a decent wage. Hold on. That's why 9 million people are on benefits, because they're working and then they get supplemented by a benefit that we're paying for again through our taxes just to get a decent wage. That's what the billionaires are doing. Don't be blinded by this. They don't need to leave. We're paying our own wages. We're paying 25% of their wages that they should be paying. Do you think they're going to leave? This is a joke, Connor.
Yeah, Connor, he's right. And there's way that they can go around like paying taxes. Like most of them don't want to pay taxes.
Yeah, why do you think there's a cost of living crisis? It's on purpose. They're trying to make us suffer.
I just want to make this quick point. The top 1% of earners in the United Kingdom pay between 28 and 30% of the tax in the UK. That's just the top 1%. They make up 30% of the tax in the UK. If you want to make the top 1% leave the UK, fair enough, make them leave. Who's going to cover that 30%? The poorer people of society, and they're going to have to pay that debt. That's 30% of the UK's
They're going
tax.
to leave, go to Monaco.
Yeah, they're going to leave and go to Monaco. And guess what that is? That's 30% of the UK's tax income gone. Sure. Let me get what the figure is. So don't believe the hype of these stories, right? There are so many tax breaks and loopholes in this country. They won't go, right? Firstly, and even if we tax them 1% on that 30%, that's 0.03% spread out between the 1%. It's nothing. It's minimal. It can be done. They just won't do it.
No,
it's minimal.
I have to agree. I agree there. One second, sorry, guys. No, sorry, but it is late. I don't know if you know the time. Everybody that's English in here knows the time. Riri and Antonio, I don't think they know the time. Guys, it is currently 1:27 in the morning, and I have been live for 2.5 hours. So, you know what? It's been a good conversation, and I want to have more of these conversations. I keep saying that I'm going to have the conversation on the foundational Black Americans, but I keep avoiding it because I feel like that one's going to be very tricky for me. I'm going to be going down some avenues I probably don't want to go down, but it has to be done. My channel will always keep calling out the truth. Truth is truth, right? Yeah, and we're going to keep talking it. Whether it's hard to speak or not, I implore you to come here sometimes and please express your opinions. Because if we don't talk, we don't learn, we don't share, we don't grow. Do you understand me? So guys, please, it's been a great show. And if you're watching this sometime later, you didn't get to catch the live, I beg you, please, make sure you leave a comment on at the bottom of this video so I can see that you watched, hear your opinions. I would love to reply to almost everybody that leaves a comment on this, okay? So please do if you can. What can I say? Just keep your eyes open in it, guys. And everybody's opinion is always welcome. I hope to catch you all again. Take care and have a good...
Real legend vibes. Drive through the door like a hurricane spinning. Backhand gang always winning, never thinning. Bricks in the vision, stacking heights like a ladder. The first reckless graduate, nothing else matters. Taught by the ball, KG, the professor. Class full of hitters, no time for the lesser. Blueprint sharp, every line be surgical. Gang move wild, but the hustle's vertical. Shut up, there's a takeover anthem. Backhand gang, no pressure, no tantrum. Ready with the bass, see the streets gon' feel it. Records on the rise, no way to conceal it. Backhand gang, backhand gang.